He's gone.
No, I'm not gone. I'm just
I know.
Swear to God.
He's gone.
We're
but
live,
not
everyone.
forgotten.
Welcome back.
Well, remember, Trend.
Rest in peace,
Wait,
Cal.
we're live without us?
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, but we're just full of shenanigans.
I'm sorry. Is that a problem? We can go offline.
Gosh.
Can we go back to that screen and then start over?
Listen, guys, I have been busting my ass all day to just get home so I can play this game. Shut up. Let's do this.
All right, okay. We should probably get going. Yeah, I guess we should.
She put it-
maybe
she
play
did-
this.
Because Meta said so.
We were at South by Southwest
Meta's in
today,
charge,
and
dude.
she put out major fires today, and she's like, "I gotta be out here by 5:45, so let's fix this shit, and I gotta go." I was just like,
That's
Nice.
awesome.
And stop it for nobody.
Awesome.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, let's go ahead and let's get started. Welcome everyone. It's good to see all you lovely people here in chat. My name is Speedy. Welcome to NotSoSpeedRuns. That's the thing that I usually say. And we are here with 6 and 20 Metropolis. Team Esper here, continuing our wonderful campaign in the City of Mist. And let's go ahead and get things started as we usually do by going around to our cast and having them recap who they are and all those lovely things about themselves. Starting with Meta.
Hi, guys. Metamancer. How's it going? You can find me on Twitch at Metamancer or on Twitter at the Metamancer because I'm the only one. I don't know. Anyway, I play Morrigan here, Morrigan Kane, who is a psychiatrist slash justified murderer. And she thinks that the world deserves good people in this place, and she's going to make sure that happens. So you guys can find me streaming on my channel or mostly on other people's channels. So yeah.
I know exactly what that's like.
So do I.
Speaking of people who know exactly what that's like, Trendane.
What?
Tell us
Oh.
about yourself.
Well, my name is Trent Sparks. I'm a professional voice actor person who used to be a professional freelance mascot performer, as evidenced by this photo. It's called a Polaroid, by the way. These were 3D printed pictures back in my day, and I found a Polaroid of me as Clifford on the White House lawn in Easter of 2006, because I got the little wooden egg that everybody participates. I was on a
"Oh, you got the Dum Dum reward."
yeah, and I got to talk to a guy with a P90 who was really hot. Speaking of which, I'm playing
Is
a
that
very
W?
what?
Is that W? I didn't know he did my P90.
No, it wasn't W, although he did sign the thing. Anyway, no, it was one of the security guys at the gate. Anyway, so speaking of lusty things, I am playing Calvin Gannicus, the satyr, who is currently at his house relaxing with their Apollo driver from last night. Yes. Logan, go.
Oh, that's me.
Oh, I'm sorry. My accent was really thick. It's the result of spending.
Was
Stop
that
drooling.
Swedish?
There were meatballs involved. I'm sorry, you were talking about the accent. Not the, never mind. Go.
I like how I look at the screen. And everyone's just like fucking shaking their heads. They're like, "No." Hi, I'm Mick Logan. You can catch me here at Twitch. I'm Mick Logan. I'm currently today playing Giovanni, the lovable junior high student who always gets in the shenanigans and got into a lot of shenanigans.
Yeah, I'm with Johnny on this. That Johnny on this one. Junior high. He's 17.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man! You were as bad at school as I am.
I think
No.
Junior
junior
No,
in high school.
You can be 17 and junior in high school. So
A junior in high school,
yeah.
not junior high. Okay.
Oh no,
Correct.
no, junior
All right.
in high school.
Okay.
That's what
Now I'm okay.
I'm in junior high, guys. I'm fucking stupid. Let me go
You got
fix this.
held
Like,
back.
so the arcade machines that I'm fixing are just like play school things, and my parents aren't real. I'm just imagining them. I'm Malcolm.
That's the mist. That's the mist working.
That is.
So yeah, I play Johnny. I am a junior high school student. I almost did it again too. I see a unicorn on the screen.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say okay. I couldn't
It's
tell
so
what it was.
happy. But yeah, I'm super excited. So yeah, Johnny had the misadventures of Johnny. That some things happened to him that happened offline. So I'm excited to see how that plays out today.
I'm terrified by that idea. And with that, I am also here. This is my channel. I'm Speedy or whatever. And today I'm playing Giovanni, the bartender with a knack for reading people, and also a strong distrust of certain members in the party. Things have been coming to a head with whatever is going on in his mind, and so we'll see how that plays out. And with that, I will turn things over to our wonderful GM. Actually, before I do that, a couple things. First off, Johnny, don't do that! You messed up the cameras!
That's what you get for doing that to me every time.
Alright, well, luckily Trendane is the MC now, so you've lost your power. You punished yourself. Although
Tina,
you
are
are
set
still
off our
labeled
cameras
Johnny,
and
so there's that.
welcome to ERP
I'm
tabletop.
doing it. I'm clicking the button.
What are we doing?
Nothing.
Esper wins and
Nope, that made it worse.
6 and 20.
Damn it.
Do we
I
all
hope
have to
I-
turn off our cameras and then play the camera game?
We could.
You could do that, or I could just move them around.
No, let's...
No.
Turn off. Let's do it. Everyone turn off their cameras.
Okay, bye. I don't know.
Alright.
This is fantastic. All right.
So
I don't know
what
who needs
order?
to go first.
What order did we join? Is
I don't know.
I think it was Johnny first.
Johnny
Johnny.
first, then Tren.
Then me.
oh no, wrong Johnny.
Not different Johnny.
Yeah.
Then me.
Then
Then Joe.
we're good. We're good. Look at us. Hashtag pro streamers.
Pro streamers.
Oh, and now your camera's all dark.
I know. I gotta
Pretty
fuck
cool.
with it now.
Whoa.
What did you do, buddy?
He went
What
to
did
the
you
dark
do?
side.
Yeah, dude, the C922 could never remember my settings, and then like when I turn the camera off for a split second and then turn it back on, it's like, oh, you have no exposure. And I was like, no, I do have exposure. You're stupid.
You shouldn't.
As
Never mind.
a user of a 922, I freaking hate that fucking piece of thing. It's like the firmware just will not save
Yeah.
for whatever reason. The 920 was so much better for that.
Yeah, I went back to the 920 because of that.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
sick.
thank God.
Sorry,
I can't
like,
imagine my
sorry.
settings not saving with like the lighting that I have right now.
I've gotten pro at setting it really quickly. Like that. See, I fixed it. That's
Your hair is
literally-
messed up. I just wanted to let you know. Okay, moving on.
Is it?
It's just in character. Johnny's hair is always messed up.
Is it though, or is it me?
It's both.
Sorry.
It could be
We
both.
derailed. We derailed.
We derailed. It's fine.
Let's
It's my
re-rail.
fault.
Rerailing. Let's railroad this campaign.
Okay.
This show is brought to you by the wonderful people at Son of Oak, the creators of City of Mist. If you are interested at all in the game that we're playing tonight, you can use the code 6and20fan to get a discount. I'm going to put the code in chat and a link. If you do that link, you can buy the book and get a discount. And they're super great people, so you should absolutely buy the book because it's awesome. Also, if you guys haven't already, there's a tweet out. You should absolutely retweet it, let other people know
Oh, I
that.
just did.
Yep. Good work, Trent. I'm proud of you.
I favorited it. They did it.
Well, close enough.
Okay, bye, Johnny. I guess he's off to high school now. Maybe.
He's off to be a crow. Flying away.
What happened? Oh, he's got the book.
But let's go ahead and turn things over at this point to RMC, Video Store Cowboy.
Sure.
Are you sure? Are we good now? Can I get started?
No.
I mean, because if I can't get started,
Waiting on you now.
Yeah, you're really just delaying this in so many ways right now.
no, I'm just enjoying the pose that Loke had there with the
Yeah.
book and everything else. It was very.
Throw your rulers at me, and I will look through this book and see if you're correct, and then argue if you're wrong.
I would like a tabletop show where it's just about arguing. It's rule lawyering. That's all it is.
Oh, boy.
Anyways, yeah, exactly.
It's called a podcast. Honestly, that's
true.
yeah.
And without, and without, and with that, we're going to get started. Previously on 6 and 20 Metropolis,
Dun dun.
boy detective Johnny, taking some initiative, decides to visit Acer Industries to track down one Trisha Bjorn. However, unable to find Trisha, he runs into Harold, dun dun dun, who invites him up for a private meeting. Boy, that sounds dirty.
And workout session.
And workout session, revealing some interesting tidbits to Johnny, which I'm sure he'll share as things go on.
This is like last night where you were like, "Oh, is your son coming?" And then we're like, "No, rephrase that."
Hey, I didn't start that. That was actually Gephardt. Let's be completely clear about that. And basically offered Johnny a job. Not the kind of job you're thinking of based on the previous innuendos that I just left. A real job as a bodyguard. Meanwhile, Morrigan, Cal,
Wasn't me, it was her. I'm laughing at her.
and Gio decide to go looking for Johnny because Morrigan got a really interesting text from Johnny that he had some piece of information and she was concerned that he was going to follow it up and be boy detective on his own, leading them to Acer Industries, and Morgan going on a little adventure of her own to the penthouse where Trisha actually lives on the Bourne skyrise, or the skyscraper. Not finding much, but the fact that it was pretty much empty. She returns to find herself encountering Harold Bjorn and the rest of the crew. Subsequently, they decide to follow Harold, who mentioned that he was going to go to a meeting, and she surprises everybody by doing something really unconventional. What'd you do, Morgan?
Oh, I mean, it was really simple. Really, no consequences at all of any kind. Just turned everybody into a crow. So we were actually a murder of crows for realsies.
Mm.
Yep, totally normal, everyday kind of Friday night shit.
And no one had a problem with it.
Not at all.
Everyone
Everybody
loved
was
it.
very open about it. Actually,
Flying.
there was no mental breakdowns of any kind. Successful
So
evening.
It was a successful evening because you followed Mr. Bjorn all the way to Santino's, I believe the name of the restaurant was, to which there was various reactions as Gio and Cal returned to normal. Morrigan returned to normal just as if nothing ever happened. But Johnny, boy detective, decided to use his newfound skill set and abilities as a crow and investigate even further. To which he found Harold having some sort of meeting with an Asian man who they were talking about some circumstances around a takeover, hostile takeover, and the inability to commit that hostile takeover, and so having to take other tactics. And I believe Chow Industries was involved, it was mentioned, and I believe Acer Industries was mentioned, and I believe the Walker Foundation was mentioned. But on his exit, Johnny was seen, and there was a little bit of a frustration on one Mr. Bjorn's part as he witnessed a crow leaving the premises. We then follow the crew back to the blue collar neighborhood where Cal proceeded to step away from the car with the driver from Apollo. Morgan, I believe, just went home, and Gio decided to walk back to his place as well. And Johnny went on a super secret Johnny the Crow adventure. And that's where we're going to fade in, guys.
I went to my office.
So-
just want to put that out there.
Okay, so it's night 3.
You did make one quick trip back to Acer to pick up the...
Yes, I picked up Trent's stuff because he was actually going home naked with the Apollo driver. So
That's correct.
I have
because
Trent's stuff.
Right, because we talked about it last week. Bestowing the crow form gave them a certain amount of control over when they return, how they return, and for Cal was naked.
Because Cal's perfectly fine with being nude all the time. He doesn't care.
Yep.
So that is his primal form. That is his optimal form. That is his final form. Is noon. Okay. All right, guys. So that's where we're opening up. We kind of fade into that Apollo car being parked off to the side as Cal and the driver head off to his apartment, and Johnny sort of flies off into the distance. Now, where do we want to begin?
Johnny. With Johnny flying off, being a crow. Caw, caw.
Caw.
Bird
Yeah,
stories.
thank you.
Some shit happens.
Well, of course, you're a bird.
Johnny goes home. After
Later
some
that
shit
night.
happens.
After
Are
some
you
shit
like
happens.
not allowed to talk about the boys club here? Is that what's going on?
Oh no! It's totally he's got to tell you guys in character kind of a thing.
Okay. Gotta RP
Right.
it.
Yeah. Are you kidding?
I want to hear about Cal's night.
Be warned, I will tell you.
I know. I want to hear about Cal's night.
I will tell you in extremely lurid detail, and if this channel is not marked mature, you're going to get kicked off of Twitch.
It is marked mature.
I would like to point out, even if it's not marked mature, I doubt he'd be kicked off of Twitch. I mean, I can tell you from my own channel experience, I wasn't marked mature, being blackout drunk and just saying whatever I wanted. I'm still here.
Those were the old days.
That was pre-new TOS.
That
That
is
was
very true.
All right, guys.
my
So-
day, TOS, we could get away with anything. Oh!
It was the Wild West.
It was. All right, now, so it's perfect time to do some downtime montages, or since Johnny had a little separate, sort of side adventure, there's an opportunity for the rest of the group to do, or the rest of the crew to do different things as well prior to the night ending, because it was still relatively early, right? It was like an 8 or 9 o'clock kind of a time frame as the crew kind of split, right? And Morrigan was definitely going back to her office, and she had already put a phone call into, I believe, Derek. Cal was busy doing his thing. Gio has an opportunity to do whatever he needs to do, or it can just lead into to montages. So it really is on you guys as to what you would like to do next.
Mm.
Hmm.
Oh, I
Everybody jump at once.
And suddenly we all do. Calvin's night is thoroughly occupied, so that's done.
Okay, so is that on? But does that lead into a montage of some kinds for
Not
you? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I only have a montage.
Okay, so does Morrigan want to do something before we get to the daytime, or we go to the montages, or?
Well, my montage would be in the evening when Derek arrives.
Okay, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
So we can start there, or we can start the montages and some, with and just kind of blur the lines of when they actually happen.
I mean, I don't
So
care either way.
I am okay just starting wherever, guys. I just need a pointer.
I'm gonna go for montages. So if Meta wants to act, or if Morgan has a scene, go ahead.
Okay. I guess so I'm trying to think about what the montage is going to be, because I do need to recover these burn tags, but I don't think it fits with what she's doing in the evening.
Okay.
Like, I don't see how Derek being there is going to help with her recovering her. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, narratively speaking, there would be no reason for her to be trying to recover from a mythos, like multiple burned power tags with him there. It might be something that she does like before she goes to sleep finally, maybe, but I don't know how
so in the same vein as the Secret Johnny, the Crow adventure, let's go ahead and just move into that scene for you then, because
Okay.
we'll just say that the night hasn't ended yet.
Right.
So kind of set the scene as you're walking into your office after the night's events so far.
Yeah, so Morgan walks into her office and like immediately just like kind of throws her shoes off. Like unlike if somebody was actually there to witness, unlike how she normally would be, which would be like to put her shoes with where her other stuff is, she just throws her shit everywhere at that point. She just doesn't give a fuck. And her hair is definitely very tousled and not nothing is ever like completely put in place like it normally is. Her jacket's on the floor, shoes are separated out, her bag's wherever. And she's gone and poured herself a drink, some whiskey, and she's just sitting on the couch waiting for Derek to arrive. So when he arrives, she invited him over so that she could have a conversation around some of the investigation points that they've gotten to so far. So, and she's drinking because she doesn't really want to talk to him about it, but she has to.
Right. So I would say probably a good 20 to 30 minutes after you arrive is when he finally does, right? Giving you a little bit of time to kind of unwind and, have that second glass of whiskey if you want that second dram. And when he shows up, he looks haggard. I mean, he's just, it looks like he's worked, he's worked with very little sleep. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't, he looks disheveled and just not at all, he's unshaven, and he does have a little bit of a smell to him because he's been in his suit all day as he's doing this. And he kind of walks in and he says, all right, I'm probably going to have to go back to the precinct in an hour. You said you had something for me?
Yeah, so there's a few things. As you know, I keep running into somehow crossover with the investigation. Having been at the gala when Phoebe went missing, everything just keeps coming full circle. And I just wanted to kind of discuss some of the points with you and see if maybe I can give you some leads that might help.
Can I sit down and can I grab one of those? And he points to your whiskey.
Yeah, she actually like brings up her other hand, which has already got the drink ready, and like hands it to him.
And he kind of raises it, and immediately starts to consume, to drink, and moves over to, one of your couches in your sort of common area.
Yeah.
And sits down and says, "Okay, well, let's get started because clock. I mean, we're almost at the 72-hour point here, and we're starting to lose some steam."
So now I don't remember if I told him I thought that they weren't missing, that they went willingly, or at least one of them did. I think I did tell him about Megan, right? You
did tell him about Megan.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna lead with that and be like, have you thought any more about the potential theory that they, at least one of them or all of them, had gone on their free will at all? Based on the video, which I had somebody drop off at the precinct. I don't know if it got to you.
Yeah, it got to us, and we're even more confused, especially since Trisha Bjorn is involved. I mean, that's her vehicle, and it's clear that she is. I don't understand because according to her publicist at Acer Industries, and according to her father and her brother, she hasn't been in contact with anybody for almost a week.
That's kind of the same conclusion I drew. I actually wanted to just go visit her to see if maybe she had information, and nobody. I ran into her brother, but I was reluctant to bring it up in case there's something more going on there.
Yes, according to Mr. Bjorn, when I visited him at his club Xanadu, he said that the siblings had a falling out recently, and that it was probably not a good idea to directly question him right now, given his anger over the situation.
Can you get a surveillance on him or something? Maybe I can talk to one of the judges.
He's not as easy to keep track of without being noticed. And so I am making sure that my team, when they engage surveillance on him, is prepared for his temper tantrums.
Man, something feels off with him. I don't know. Every time I've met him, I don't know. It's that weird feeling, I guess.
You weren't wrong. I mean, he's kind of a bully in a lot of ways. We've had some run-ins with him in the past when he was bailing Trisha out, and he's just been an incredible bully.
But we don't have anything on him that we can use, at least.
Everything's circumstantial at this point. I mean, if you've got something more, I would love to hear it, because I'd love to be able to show it put it in front of a judge and talk about it. But at this point, and he just kind of, finishes off what's in his glass. He says, I can't make a case for, surveillance to stick for longer than maybe 24 hours. And I can't gain access to any records at Acer Industries unless I've got something a little bit more substantial. I can't even get into, there's a bit of red tape going on between the investigation into Gerald Walker's murder, which appears to be related in some vague way because of the party on Wednesday night. There's a little bit of red tape being introduced, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on. So
what if we approached through the Walker Foundation side? I know for a fact, based on Mary, Phoebe's assistant, that Harold met with Phoebe and asked her not to take up the post of the chairman. So that says to me there's some motivation there. So maybe there's an in with the Walker Foundation that will then give us something on Harold.
Well, so that's kind of interesting, because something Mr. Bjorn said while I was at Xanadu struck me as odd. He said that Harold wanted the position.
That makes sense.
But he wanted the position. He wanted Trisha to actually take the position. He was campaigning for her. This is the only time that I've heard it. Everybody else that I talked to at the party seemed to believe that it was Harold who wanted to actually be the chairman, but it seemed like he wanted to push his sister into the position after it was his to take.
Do you think that's a ruse, or is there some potential
of anybody that I've spoken to? Xanadu, Mr. Bjorn has been the most trustworthy in respect to verifying sources.
That hardly makes any sense if he's not on good terms with Trisha.
Right. And we can't seem to figure out why. Mr. Bjorn just explained that he would not go into the personal business of his son and his daughter.
Okay. Well, shit. Is there any way for us to track Trisha?
At this point, I'm trying to get surveillance specifically on her vehicle. It's a part of the security service. Surprisingly, I'm seeing a little bit of resistance from the judge talking about privacy concerns until I've got more evidence. He's calling the video.
The video should be enough.
I would expect the video to be enough, but it's not clear that she's driving it. So even though it is her vehicle, and so that's why
for us to seize kind of financial records or something, credit cards. I mean, it's her car.
You're right, but it looks like Megan was willing to get into the vehicle according to the video. So they're not considering it a serious situation of disappearance, not like Phoebe and Alexis.
Well, let me go talk to the judge then.
All right.
They owe me some favors. I mean, would they rather the girl show up dead just because they don't want to give us a few financial records?
he gets up and goes to pour himself another drink, and he says, "Listen, I'm okay with you doing that. I will set up the meeting if that's what you want to do. But just be careful here. This feels just as political as it does as a missing persons case. There's something bigger going on here."
Okay.
The red tape that's being put between the Walker Foundation and the investigation into the disappearance of the Dairy Sisters really just seems the timing is suspect to me.
Okay. Well, set up the meeting and I'll see what I can do. We need
And
something.
you see him open up his notebook, to his daily to-do list, and he's very organized in his Luddite approach to how he does to-dos, and he adds it to his to-do. All right, so what else do you have?
About the case, that's about it. I feel like we just keep hitting dead ends. Have you been able to get anything more out of Manny after his father showed up?
No, surprisingly, no. That circumstance, that situation, Samuel brought a lawyer,
Of course.
very, very powerful, high-paid lawyer, and I'm a little surprised because I didn't think Manny Samuel had that much money. But it was...
He doesn't need money. He can put the fear of God in people. I mean, come on.
No, this particular lawyer is incredibly good for what he does, and he can charge what he likes. And I don't know where where Samuel got the resources, but this lawyer is it's a little too good, if you ask me. But no, I didn't get any more than from Manny, and my suspicion is that we are not going to get anything more until we have some hard evidence to really kind of pin on more than just the individuals that were at the party.
Okay. I'll see if I can talk to one of the individuals that we questioned before.
All right, well, be careful.
He's my
Samuel
patient.
Well, I know. I understand that. Samuel made it very clear that there would be consequences, legal consequences, and he goes legal, should we try to interfere in his business. I'm not one for intimidation. I'm just relaying what I know.
I understand. I'll tread carefully. They won't even know I was there. How's that?
I hope so. I don't need to be worrying about you too.
Nah, you never need to worry about me. But, I'm worried about you. You seem to be not so great.
Yep. We're about 12 hours before this case becomes more difficult. 72 hours.
I know.
So, if there's nothing else, I really got to get back to it. They're waiting on me to process some more information in respect to what we found at the crime scene, or what we found up at the gala.
Why are you doing that? One of the police officers should do that.
We have everybody working on it as quickly as possible, but at this point, all the eyes are, we can get on and are important. You want to come down with us, you're more than welcome to. We could use the extra pair of eyes.
Well, why don't you at least rest for a few hours and then go back?
I'll get enough rest after we figure this out. There's too much craziness going on here. There's too many variables.
Derek, if you're exhausted, you're not going to be any help to anybody.
Are you convincing him?
I mean, sure.
Well, that's generally what I'm going for, because his motivation at this point is to go back to the job.
Okay.
He's uncomfortable in this situation.
Okay. I'm going to use my Logos power tags. So connections, because I have a connection to him, and then psychoanalysis and psychology. I don't see any of the weaknesses applying in this case.
You don't feel that apathy is a...
I'm not apathetic when it comes towards him.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
If it were anybody else, then yes, absolutely. Okay.
Wow.
What? It's true. I didn't mean to click that button. I meant to click this button. All right. And we're gonna convince at that.
Let's see if the rolls.
What? Did I roll that right? 2d6 plus 3? Yeah, plus 3.
Wow. You
So
rolled
no.
2 ones.
So the rolls are no better tonight than they were last.
Yeah, what the fuck? How did I roll 2 ones? That's such shit. Damn. Son.
That is
delicious.
Yikes.
No, it's not. It's not
and
delicious.
he
at all.
looks at you and he's like, and you see a second for him. You see a second where he just kind of softens and he sighs and he's like, no, listen, Mark, I really appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate. We're so close. Where I hope is a breakthrough. I need to get back to it. So, and he drinks the last of his drink in the glass and he puts it on the table in front of the coffee table in front, and he starts to stand.
Okay, well, my door's always open for you. So when you're done with your shift, whenever you decide that's going to be, you can come by. We can have another drink.
Okay. Well, I'd like that. Although, I've been meaning to ask you, did you when we talked earlier, did you get a chance to look into that woman that I was mentioning that was looking into the Gephardt case?
She hasn't contacted me for anything.
I got another text from her. She wants to meet tomorrow, so I just wanted to check in and make sure.
Yeah, tell her to email me or something, or she can stop by the office, but I'm a little worried about uprooting a case that's old, especially given what's going on right now.
Given everything else that's going on, I could care less, but she seems nice enough, and she's been a little helpful in other areas, so absolutely. All right, well, and he gets up to walk to the front door, and he opens it and he looks back and he says, no, and then he just kind of walks out.
Okay. Well, that was disappointing. But anyway, Morgan's gonna pour herself another drink, and once Derek is gone, she kind of it's almost like it's like this sharp pain that kind of like the look of pain that goes across her face as she kind of holds her side, and she feels like this tenseness in her body. And she just takes the full shot of the whiskey and walks into her bedroom area, which is her stay-in when she doesn't want to go back to her actual house. And behind where the closet is, there's another door, and she goes into this door. And inside is just this massive investigation board with everything that she knows about what's going on, things about potential other people with power that are related, her theories on things. There's red line string attack, linking multiple individuals together and events together. And then she shuts off the light, and as she's walking away, the LED there's an LED strip at the top that lights up specific information about Mythos that she has thought of, and then she goes to sleep.
I only have one question. What kind of board is it, and where is it from?
It's definitely not Malaysian cork.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Do you have something against Malaysian fake cork?
No, I heard a guy from some other guy that said this guy that murdered people hated Malaysian cork. So.
All right. So we're gonna flow into the daytime and go into montages.
Okay.
Whoa! Who wants to go first?
I can go.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. So where do we find Gio in his montage? What is Gio doing?
So Gio, immediately after the events of the previous episode, still kind of shaken and just kind of deciding to walk home. He wants to go back to the bar. He does. Like, that would be like his ideal like way to recover from this, but he's not dressed like a bartender anymore. And he doesn't want anyone who he worked with to see him like that. So all he can really do is walk home. And as he kind of approaches his apartment, it's a decent building. It's not the best, but he trudges up the kind of older creaking wooden stairs, unlocks his door, heads inside, and just kind of looks around. He hasn't been here in a couple of days, and it looks about as bad as it did when he left. It's a mess. There are some takeout containers on the table. It's just a studio apartment, not a huge place. The bed is unmade. There's trash and a few places on the ground. And he heads to the fridge, opens it up, kind of just rubbing his eyes at the light of the fridge, and pulls out a couple of things, and he pours himself a drink that's mixed box wine and orange juice.
No, dude, don't do that. Don't do that. Didn't you hear about all the arsenic in the cheap box wine?
Listen, I did not.
That is the point.
I'm sorry. I just had to interrupt. Anyways, go ahead.
He just sort of pours himself a mixed drink, and he sits down on his bed. And he looks at the framed photo next to it. And takes a moment. Sits. Drinks. Downs the drink. And turns the photo face down. Lies down in his bed, and for the very first time in a long time, he begins to cry. And that's his montage.
Does he go to sleep?
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Does he dream?
Oh, that is a good question.
Of electric sheep.
Not quite what I was going for, but electric sheep are good.
They're just questions, Leon.
Yes, he dreams. His dreams are troubled. They're a mix of things. A mix of memories from the past, of the sight of blood, of a deep sadness, and kind of punctuated throughout is just this darkness and this image of crows, this image of Morrigan kind of haunting it, and not only seeing Morrigan like as the darkness, as this sort of dark justice that she's bringing, but seeing Morrigan as she is meant to be. Like seeing just the brief moments where he saw her like being like a good therapist, and that's it. And just a fear throughout.
Okay. And so is that your mythos or your logos?
Logos.
Okay. So go ahead and give attention to your logos on that theme. Okay. All right. So that's Gio's montage. Who wants to go next? Don't everybody jump up at once, guys.
I'm sorry. I had to turn on my mic. Hi. I can go next. So what I have, I'm going to give attention to my logos. So the next day, in the morning, I'm going to go to Stormy's Arcade. And it is Friday, correct?
It is now. So Wednesday night, Thursday night. I
Friday
believe last
morning?
night was Friday night, so this is Saturday morning.
This is Saturday morning?
Yes, this is Saturday, the 4th day.
We're on the 4th day. We're on the 3rd day.
Wednesday night is the first
Okay.
day. Thursday night is the second day. Friday night was last night. You now wake up in the morning. It's the third day. Technically, it's Saturday. See where I'm going with that?
Okay, I'm trying to think what we did. Okay, so shenanigans, more shenanigans. Because I thought Acer was the second night, and the whole crow thing happened on the second night.
I thought that was the third night. Okay, all right. Then it's the third. It's Friday morning.
Am I wrong? Anyone else, or am I crazy?
It sounds right.
All right, then it's. I'm sorry. I made him. I was tracking it incorrectly. So it's the third morning. So go ahead.
So it's Friday morning. So since it's Friday morning, I'm going to
Wait, I know why this is correct because I scheduled a rendezvous with our supposed Trisha for Friday evening, and that hasn't happened yet.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
I remembered something that helps. Okay, muting myself.
We did it, gang. All right. So he's gonna get to Stormy's at like 7 a.m. After getting like breakfast like to go. And then when he gets there, he like starts preheating an oven and like fixing one of the machines and throws a pizza in, and then starts working on another machine. There's not many machines broken. It's more that I had to do preventative maintenance on the other arcade machines to make sure everything's working, that the joysticks are broken. If any of them are broken, I'm going to fix them because it is Friday, and we're going to be hitting the prime time of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during the day, not so much the afternoon. That's when Stormy's makes its most money. So he's just going through and doing maintenance and all that kind of stuff, and and he takes out the pizza, eats a pizza, and no one's there yet. He's probably going to open the store and run the register and all that kind of stuff, and like kind of just go through his checklist, make sure everything's okay until the next staff comes in. Not necessarily his father. His father probably leaves that to a manager or some sort, because he just owns the business, and he just pays Johnny to fix the machines. So as the manager comes in, Johnny would like kind of give like a report to him, like, hey, this was broken. I did maintenance checks on all the other machines. They should be good over the weekend. If anything breaks, just get a hold of my dad and I'll come in and fix it. And he sits there and eats it. And that's until about like maybe mid-afternoon, about 2-3 p.m. He's doing that. So that's how I give attention to my logos. And I want to click for my high school student in arcade repair attention.
Okay. Do you ever go to that one little spot where there's like that thing that you believe in?
Wow, that's not super vague at all.
So, Johnny, one thing Johnny would do is that he before anyone else got there, he would have made 2 pizzas. I totally would have done this. He made 2 pizzas. One pizza he brought through. He like opens the thing and he's like, it's still here. And then he goes through, opens it up to this warehouse, and he's like, eat up, everyone, and like slides in a pizza, and then and waves at them, and then shuts it, and then goes back in.
Okay. All right. So that's Johnny's montage, which is giving attention to his logos. Great.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So now, Cal, Morrigan, which would like you to go next?
Well, since it's apparently dawn here.
Yeah, seriously.
Dude, no, you're in the Matrix right now with the fucking architect.
I was going to say he's sitting right over there tapping his stupid pen.
Hello, Trendane.
Yes, Philip. I'll be with you in just a minute. Philip McArchitect is his name. Anyway, so basically, I guess he can. Okay, suddenly it's not dawn here anymore. All I had to do was talk about it, and the light levels returned to normal. I guess I can give use this sexy times with Sebastian, our Apollo driver, to give attention to his logos, easy on the eyes, since ruggedly handsome, charming, and own type of eccentric are the 3 pound. Yeah, I'll go with that, and I'm not going to tell you guys what happened. But I ship it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, what does Cal not ship? I mean, that's a shorter list, I think.
It is cactus.
Okay, see?
Those are uncomfortable. Especially saguaro, because their needles they're almost like little shards of glass, and they break off, and they're sort of barbed so that as you move, they just sort of work their way in. They are awful. Awful. Not saguaro, sorry, jumping cholla.
Jumping cholla. Okay.
How can I believe a man that can keep his cactuses straight?
All right, so give attention to that.
Did.
Okay. And we'll call that a montage.
And they are just laying in bed.
Is he asleep or is he up with you?
Him?
Yes.
He's currently asleep, but so is Cal.
Okay.
Because they were up all night.
Yes, I expected as much, but
yeah.
All right. So last but not least, Morrigan.
Hello. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. More secrets.
Uh-oh.
No, definitely more secrets. So Morrigan kind of wakes up. Her foot and her arm are hanging out of the bed halfway. She's a wreck. She drank way too much. She wakes up with an epic hangover. Barely crawls out of bed as she kind of sits up and moans a bit, and it's just this is a really bad idea. So she starts getting dressed. She gets to her vehicle at where Trent's or Cal's stuff is still in the back seat, and she just drives. And she drives. She's going to be doing a recovery in a minute, but she's driving to this place that she needs to do this activity. And the place that she is driving to is actually her real house. And it is way the fuck out there on the edge of where the City of Mist allows you to be if you're one of those things.
So talk to us a little bit about Morrigan's house.
Yeah, so her house is actually in the middle of nowhere. There's no actual road. It's in the forest. It's a log cabin, essentially. It's there's no technology at all there. It is complete opposite of everything that she has in the city, which is why most people think she just lives there because she fits so well with that environment. But when she goes to her actual house, the few times that she actually can, it is super cozy. So she drives up and then she walks the half mile to her house, and the whole time, when you get there, I'll describe it, but the whole time she's having a conversation with herself, and most of it would seem kind of just nonsensical. But there's 2 very distinct things happening in that. One, she's discussing the things that she realizes about the case, but then there's this other part of her that keeps jumping out, almost interrupting her, and she's talking out loud the whole time. And this other voice doesn't sound like Morrigan at all. It sounds very much like the Morrigan rather than Morrigan the psychiatrist. And she gets to the back of her house, which so this log cabin area, the back of her house is full of is just this massive garden, lots of dirt, different plants. Some look medicinal in some ways, and in there she just starts digging. She drops to the ground and starts digging through everything, and inside of this hole is a small box, and inside of the box is something that one of her family members, her mother, left her, and it is a note that's addressed to Morrigan, and all it says really is that she can't come back. Like her mother says, she can't come back. I can't come back for you. You'll have to find me, and just remember that I love you. And that's all it says. And she just has this in the box, always hidden from everybody's view, as safe as it can be. And now at this point, Morrigan's completely just covered in dirt from head to toe. But instead of cleaning up, she just sits out there on the ground, closes her eyes, and starts to speak some kind of strange language. And that's her giving her recovery from previous activities, or whatever it is. Prepare for next activities when I regain, I guess.
You recover all your burn tags.
Yeah.
So is she speaking Gaelic?
Yes, she's speaking the oldest form of it.
Okay, right. So something that would be probably lost for the most part.
Oh, so it really makes no sense.
Yes.
And then that's right.
Her voice. I don't know if I can actually get my voice deep enough to do it, but it's imagine the transformation between like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs when like the queen like goes and like does the change. It's got that kind of like slight cackle to it when she starts to talk, and when she's talking about those things, and obviously you can't understand what she's saying, but what she's saying in this other language is very dark and not good. She's basically I don't know if I should say it, what she's doing actually.
You don't have to invoke it until you don't have to bring it into the story, the narrative, until it's super critical. I mean, you can leave that as a mystery. I'm
gonna wait on that one. You've gotten enough of my secrets already.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
And so Morrigan recovers, all of the burn tags from her theme book from the last session, where she basically stopped holding back to transform the crew into crows.
Yep.
And that's going to end your montage.
Yeah.
I just want to pause for just a second and say, God damn it, Tren, that Excalibur reference now has me thinking about Helen Mirren. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You really want to see some cool Helen Mirren shit? Watch the episode of the whatever the show is that Stephen Colbert hosts now. There's a scene where he's leaning across his desk like this, and she's leaning from the guest chair onto the table holding a piece of paper. It's a poem about Achilles that always makes Stephen Colbert cry, and it's her reading it, and oh my God, it's amazing. And anyway, sorry, just look that up on YouTube after we're done.
I will. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. But it was a nice Excalibur reference. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
All right. So montages are done. Recovery has happened. Attention has happened. That kind of a thing. Why don't we fade into Morrigan after the recovery at her cabin, her home, her real residence.
Yep. Yeah. She's after she's gotten cleaned up, obviously, she's cozy. She's in some really like super chill attire, like stupid sweatshirt, oversized kind of deal. Just kind of sulking around the house, drinking some kind of weird tea. And she texts everybody and she's like, "Hey, don't forget we have a rendezvous tonight. They may or may not show up, ? And I would say that when everybody receives the messages, except for maybe Johnny, both Cal and Gio would be like, why does she sound cheerful over text? Because I got like emojis and stuff. I'm like all over the place.
I learned about this one.
Is this a group
Eggplant.
chat? Is this a group chat or individual?
No, it's a group chat.
We have a group chat now.
Yep.
Wait, does Gio have a phone?
Yeah, Gio has a phone.
I called Gio on the phone last episode.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well,
we actually had our phones out.
So, I want to know what Morrigan's house looks like secretly in my head. So I can see you live in a wood cabin. What does that wood cabin interior look like?
Oh man, it's super old school. Like we're talking like trinkets and baubles all over the goddamn place. There's some old school books there. She went to was it the old quarter that has the people who are like more prone to being legends? Was that which place was it in the book that people like they go there to like explore their mythos? Do you know what I'm talking about? Old quarter. Like she's gone there in a different version of herself as a disguise to like get magical items, because she's like super into like the way that the world sees magic, and it's really intriguing to her and fun. So that her entire house, it's not very big. There's a 1-bedroom, and then there's like the living / kitchen dining area and a fireplace, and obviously a bathroom, but like it's very small, and all the walls are just lined with a bunch of random shit. Opposite of everything you could possibly think of if you saw Morrigan's office and then this. 2 different people.
Yeah, you would get a response from Johnny being like, "Yeah, she's not gonna show there. I kind of found some shit out.
We should meet."
Smiley face. I'm
with
like
this little coffee emoji with a heart.
Gio responds, "Yeah, I'd like to talk with you guys before we do anything else again, anyways."
Well, where are we meeting?
Queen of Hearts is always open. Well,
okay.
I don't think Johnny can get into the Queen of Hearts.
I work there. He can get into the Queen of Hearts.
Okay, fine.
It is 4 p.m. I could get in there. They still serve food. I actually don't know that. I'm sorry.
They do.
Malcolm took all of their peanut butter filled pretzels, so no, that's been 3 weeks. They probably restocked.
God, I hope so.
Where is the Queen of Hearts? What district?
Downtown.
Gio.
Or sorry, no, it's Tinseltown. It's like
Okay.
in a less
In
less
the
popular
seedier
part of
version of this,
Tinseltown.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like
So-
the old like Main Street, like where all the popular stuff used to be, and then everything kind of shifted over years. But yeah.
I would get an Apollo and start making my way to the Queen of Hearts.
Wait, Johnny would use an Apollo?
Yeah, why?
I thought he walked everywhere.
I don't walk everywhere. Tinseltown, I imagine, is far away from him. For where
It's on the other side of it's on the other side of downtown, so absolutely.
Yeah, like if he goes downtown, he'll walk, because like from blue collar to downtown in his head, he thinks it works. That it's an easy distance. He had to take an Apollo to Olympus when he worked there, because he didn't know that area too well. And it'd just be easier to get there if he just got an Apollo and took that route. But he was working with the catering company, so he hooked up with the catering company. They brought him out there. But yeah, he would take an Apollo out to the Queen of Hearts, because he doesn't know where it is. He just like Googled the address and finds it, and then he like puts it in and waits for the Apollo to show up outside the arcade.
Okay.
I drive there.
Did Cal respond to anything?
Well, as soon as she gets back into range, the phone in the backseat of her car goes as the text goes up.
And then she's like, "Oh crap."
So she has his phone.
Does she know where Cal lives? Like
Nobody does.
Johnny does.
No. When were you at his house?
No, but he was there. I thought, okay, was it you got out of the Apollo first, and then
I was last.
You were last? Well, Johnny was a crow, like hanging out.
That's right.
And then like when he was like,
so
Apollo,
Johnny knows where. He knows
Johnny-
the area, but he doesn't know
Yeah.
which house.
Okay. I stop my car. I pull over and I text. I just realized I have Cal's phone. Does anybody know where he lives?
I do.
Okay,
hold
where?
on. He lives in the blue collar district.
You're not texting all these ums, are you?
Yes,
Yes,
he
it
is. I remember how
General
to get there. I don't remember where it is exactly.
Where are you?
Outside Stormy's.
I'll pick you up.
Okay, hold on. I cancel my Apollo.
Okay. I roll up with my car. My car!
Car!
I know, thank you. Thank
Not
you.
again!
Surprise, bitches! No, I'm just kidding. All right, I pick up Johnny. Okay, tell me where I'm going so we can get Cal. This is probably better this way, because...
Yeah, you want to go down the street and that street? I can't name streets right
Sure,
now.
well, you direct me to where the general vicinity of Cal's
And
house.
I direct her to Cal's apartment or house. And,
General area.
Yeah. And I was like, this is where he took the Apollo driver inside. And they were like, they were getting really close.
Yeah, Johnny, just, that's between adults, consenting adults, and it's totally normal. No big deal.
I'm 17, right?
Sure. Do you like girls or boys?
Girls.
Okay. So what I'm saying to you is that two men consenting, if that's what they want to do, that's totally okay. So,
I'm 17, right?
so
I mean, I know there's gay people out there.
that's
Which
not what
Cal's case is everyone.
well,
everyone
I mean,
people.
Cal is very persuasive. So,
He's pansexual.
well, I was referring
I
to
just
Cal's
realized
ability
that.
to pretty much get everybody in bed.
We are currently on Pan Street.
Of course we are. Of course we are. All right, so I'm gonna go and just pretty much figure out which one of these is Cal and hope for the best. Is there any directory, or is it just empty?
The basically, it's right on the corner. It's a T intersection where his place is.
Mhm.
And on one corner is just kind of the suburbs, of the blue collar district, and
Yeah.
on the other side is where warehouses start, older warehouses.
Okay.
And then the top of the T, because it's like, here's all the houses, here's all the
Mhm.
warehouses, and everything up here is the park.
Okay.
So what we probably did with the T intersection is the Apollo driver pulled up right there, and then Johnny into the park, but he would have seen, if he was looking, he would have seen Malcolm. No, he would have seen Calvin and Sebastian walk to this warehouse right here.
A warehouse? You live in a warehouse? God damn it.
It's a converted warehouse.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
It's a very nicely converted warehouse.
I believe you. Okay, Johnny, any, general direction? Has Gia responded at all to any of the where does Cal live?
I mean, Johnny said he knew, so I didn't feel the need
Okay.
to. I don't know where
Okay.
Cal lives.
It's that one.
You sure?
Yes.
Now, Johnny, lying is not nice.
I'm not lying. It's that one. That's the one they walked into, or they were walking up to. And let's say, we're like, oh, let's walk up to this one, and then beeline it for that one over there. It wouldn't make sense.
That's true. Okay, so stay in the car, and I will be right back. I say this for your own safety here about you not needing to witness things that could be happening over there.
That is very true.
That's true. All right. And then he just takes out his phone and he's just like,
Okay, so Morgan's gonna go to the warehouse that Johnny hopefully pointed me to the correct location.
So the front of the warehouse, there is a roll-up garage door.
Okay.
a standard swing door right next to it with a mail slot in it, and there is a metal staircase that goes up to what is a dark wooden door with a beautiful stained glass insert of grapevines in the thing.
Based on Morrigan's current assessment of Cal, she would definitely go to that door.
That would be the right door to go to.
Yes. So is there a doorbell or is it a knocker?
It's a knocker.
Of course it is. All right, here it goes. Knocking on that door with the knocker.
And there's some muttering inside and some laughter and some very heavy footfalls that Morrigan would know are hooves.
Yes.
Heading towards the front door. And through the stained glass, you can't really focus on anything, but you can see vague shapes.
Okay.
And so one comes towards the door, stops, clearly grabs something off the wall, and you can tell that he's putting something on.
Okay.
And he opens the door, and it's just like a little foyer entry kind of thing. Oh,
good morning.
It was.
Well, I'm returning your belongings, including your phone. So if you don't want that back, though, I can hold on to it for a few more days.
No, I appreciate that.
Okay. I have
kind of sets it on the foyer is just, it's almost like a mudroom. There are benches on both sides for people to sit on, and there are hooks and places to put your shoes and shit like that.
Okay.
And right above the doorway behind him is a big sign that says "No clothes beyond this point."
Got it. Oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
Well, I have Johnny in the car. Apparently, he decided to spend more time investigating things on his own last night, and he's going to be updating us at Gio's work location. If you would like to join us, I have extended the offer. And if you would like a ride, I'm happy to provide you one, but I think you're still occupied.
No, I think we're just about done.
Are you sure? Because it seems like you were having a great time.
We were having breakfast. I know it's 2:00 in the afternoon, but we were having breakfast. So.
I mean, you had a great night.
We both did.
That's good. That's good. Sometimes we need that. Anyway.
What's taking so long? I'm hungry.
Oh my God.
Just a second. And Calvin closes the door. You see the what is a full-length cotton robe that he had put on.
Yeah.
Takes it off, hangs it up, walks into his house,
Love it.
and comes back, puts something on puts down something and puts the robe back on, opens the door, and it is a stack of pancakes like that. It's like, give those to him. I'll be down in a minute.
Johnny's already on the porch by that point.
No, you're not. Stop it. You don't know
If
it.
he saw pancakes come out that door,
I'm
he'd be
around
like,
the corner.
how are we around the corner? I thought we're in
It's a
front of the house.
warehouse. It's a warehouse. It's like go around the corner. Wait, right? It's around the corner. No?
No.
Fine. You see the stupid
But
pancakes.
the pancakes did not come out through the door. He's just standing in just inside his door.
Oh, okay. So once I grab the pancakes and pull them out,
Then he would see it.
yes.
He's like, you see Johnny like running up and like,
Okay. Here you go.
slow motion, like going for the pancakes. Like,
We'll see you in the car. Thank you.
When you get to the crunchy stuff, that's the plate. And he closes the door. And he goes and
Johnny.
starts wrapping up his escapades with Sebastian, and eventually Sebastian comes out looking
Satisfied.
very, very satisfied, refreshed. Not like his clothes are all rumpled and shit like that, and his hair's. I mean, he looks like he's ready to go to work.
Nice.
And He does. He goes back down to his car, turns on the Apollo sign, and goes to his home. And then Calvin comes out in a fresh, button-up shirt and cardigan and kilt, and
there's a clean plate on your porch.
Probably don't even have to wash it now. And he puts it on the bench and comes out, locks the door.
Please wash it.
He's going to.
Awesome. Okay.
I need every crumb. Ah.
Yeah, I figured you would.
Seems like he enjoyed the pancakes.
Oh, I did, yes.
Given the rate at which he eats, we should probably hurry.
Yes, I agree. All right, we make it to Geo's. You're at work, right?
Yeah.
You said you were. Yeah. Okay. I was just making sure. So we're there, and okay.
So talk to us. So this is the Queen of Hearts open, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's during the operating hours. So can you describe to them what they would see as they come into the Queen of Hearts in the open? Because the last time we saw it was either it was in a montage and it was the morning,
Right.
so it was really empty, and then previous time was actually in the back room of the Queen of Hearts. So can you kind of set the scene for us?
Yeah. What time of day is it right now?
Probably the afternoon, so late afternoon.
Okay. So you guys walk in. You see there's a it's not like a big crowd, just because this isn't like still the most popular establishment, but you can see there's a decent number of people at the bar when you walk in. It's kind of it's a bit dingy, but there's sort of like a vintage charm to it in a way as well. This sort of retro speakeasy type feel to the bar as you walk in. Looking through like the bar lounge area at the entrance, you can see like very large like archway through which you can see a much more well lit area where there are card tables and roulette, and you can faintly hear the sound of slot machines whirring in the background. But within the bar area at the front, it's much more relaxed. There's a few people sitting around at tables, either just sort of drinking, eating light fare, just sort of talking casually. Some of them looking like they're either down on their luck or up on it, and various degrees of excitement because of it. And you can see Geo behind the bar, just like with a shaker, kind of preparing a drink for someone as you enter.
Awesome. What's the lighting like? Like, is it very dim or is it more?
In the bar area, it's fairly dim. It's like much more relaxed. It's kind of like the way to kind of get away from like the very bright and loud interior. Although the loudness kind of seeps through sometimes.
Sure. Okay. Cool.
Is this on like the main floor, or is this one of these bars that like go into a basement, and like it's like a basement level? Like you go down some stairs, and then the bar is like in the basement area under a building.
You mean
Like
like
a
recessed into the ground kind of deal?
Yeah.
But like not an actual different level.
Don't sometimes you see in like New York or on the rocks at Pack South, where they had that bar that went downstairs.
It's like a half level, like a sunken.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, this is not like that. This is ground level. Although the casino does actually go downstairs as well, so there's more space for it. But you wouldn't see that really.
Cool. Well, Morgan's kind of walking around observing who's here. If there's anybody she recognizes while she makes her way over to Geo.
Depending on how
you see some characters that you've run into in the past. So
okay.
Absolutely.
Unsavory characters or neutral savoriness?
As was revealed previously, the hard-boiled criminal element of the city is aware of who Morrigan Kane is.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out if I should be worried for my safety right now.
A light dusting of rosemary. That level of savory.
No, there's nobody that strikes you as somebody who you may have had conflict with in the past. There might have been some difficult conversations, but nothing that left you feeling like you were in danger.
Okay. Fair enough.
I guess Johnny sits at the bar.
Yeah.
If no, at the bar where there's like no one at. Like, man, there's like early afternoon. Like, there isn't a shit ton of people in here.
No.
So yeah, and he just sits at the bar in front of Geo. Hi.
Calvin sits down next to him because he's not gonna leave Johnny by himself
Yeah.
in a bar.
Hey there. I'm gonna need to see your ID. What do you want, Johnny?
Whatever he wants to have, he'll drink virgin. As Morrigan sits down.
I just want a Coke and a burger. A big burger. Your biggest burger. How big is your burger? Can you take 2 of those burgers and stack them on top of each other? That'd be great.
Harder to do a Dagwood with.
I can ask the chef.
Wait a minute. Is the Queen of Hearts the kind of place that has an actual chef, or is it more like a cook?
It's more like it's a cook who likes to think he's a chef.
It takes him 20
right.
minutes to make a salad. Kind of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. There's also there's a buffet in the casino area, but Gio doesn't want to say that because Johnny will leave.
Yeah. And we need Johnny to tell us information right now.
Yeah.
Well, he had a
Without
bunch of
spraying us
pancakes,
with
so he's
scrambled
good
eggs.
for the time being. He
That's
just wants
true.
a burger.
They weren't just pancakes. They were very fluffy pancakes.
They
Yes.
were
Almonds,
delectable. They were
slivered
buttery.
almonds, honey butter, and they were really.
Now I'm jealous that Morgan didn't have some fucking pancakes.
Mhm.
Stop it! I'm hungry. Please.
I know,
stop
right?
it now.
She was holding the plate. She could have had one.
I know, but it was not my choice, really.
Johnny keeps eating the peanuts there on the bench or on the bar. He's like, yeah.
Just shells
Makes
it all.
sense. You know that there's all
Mhm.
sorts of bacteria in that.
Well, I'll be fine. I'm fairly sure.
I know it's 2:00, Gio, but I would totally love a drink right now.
Can do.
It's 4.
Was it 4?
It's closer.
What? It's whatever. It's still somewhat
You really
early
need
for
a drink.
a therapist to be
It's
drinking.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Yes.
I mean, it is Friday. Everybody's working for the weekend, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, who
No,
meets
Have you
you
been
up?
hanging out with Gephardt?
If you notice, Johnny always makes 80s references.
Well, given where he works,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Johnny's favorite movie coming out probably very soon is going to be Ready Player One.
really, I
Hmm.
would have thought it was
The Wizard.
no.
The giant Nintendo commercial. That was a
No.
movie.
So there's a few things happening. One, we have a potential meeting. You're welcome to join me at Cal's recommended the OK Bayou restaurant. I don't actually know if anybody will show up.
No one's going to show up. If someone does show up, it's not going to be T. We'll call her T right now.
Why don't we talk about what you wanted to tell us, Johnny?
First, what's your email?
My email?
Yeah.
Just mkane at whatever the fuck my consultancy company is. Or my
Eves.
Ives, yeah, it's
Ives. Sorry.
yeah, AVES, I think.
And okay. And then you get he like sits there on his phone for a second, and you get like a shit ton of forwarded emails
Oh
from
dear lord. Johnny, what is this? Why?
Oh, I may have done something last night when I was a bird.
This is like 3 weeks worth of emails. What is this? Or 3 days worth of emails?
Well, no, that's a week's worth of emails.
Weeks worth?
T's been missing for 2 weeks. She has no social media presence, and she hasn't been at work for 2 weeks. Also, do you guys know there's like a fucking Chinese dragon that guards like the upper echelons of the buildings?
What?
Of what buildings?
Oh, I flew into Acer last night. And I ripped the
What?
safe out the wall. I also have this ledger.
Did somebody see you, Johnny?
Johnny, what the hell?
Well,
Calvin is now making sure to watch the crowd and see who might be hearing this.
Okay.
Johnny can't handle it. He's like, nope.
How did you... Okay. Shit. Was there somebody inside of the penthouse that you broke into?
No, it still is abandoned.
So it was as empty as I left it. Okay.
Yeah. But she's been missing for 2 weeks. I found this ledger in a safe.
How did you open a safe?
Well, I actually ripped the safe out of the wall with my little claws and then flew with it all the way to, exhaustedly flew with it to the Fog's Brew in the alley, and then I just cracked it open after I transformed back.
So they know you were there.
Well, no, they know a bird was there.
Okay. That's totally normal for a bird to rip something out of a wall. Oh, wait. Continue with your story, Johnny.
So, actually, there was a voice that told me to hide, and I hid. So how I got away from that, there was a giant Chinese dragon in the air, and it was fighting a giant raven. And the raven was protecting me from the dragon and helped me get away. It sounds a little insane, but that's
Was
what
it
happened.
one raven or two?
Just the one that I saw. It was a huge raven.
And it was
Interesting.
fighting a dragon.
Yes.
Morgan starts like actually taking notes.
Did they seem to be paying attention to you at all?
No one ever saw me.
Well, certainly someone saw the inside of that room as you were a crow
Someone
pulling out
was
a safe from the
smelling.
wall.
Well, no one showed up when I pulled the thing out of the wall.
I can't imagine they don't have more security than that, but
How did you get the
regardless,
safe out of there?
Wait, what?
How did you get the safe out of there?
I flew it upward the vent that I came through.
How big is the safe?
Or it's skylight. How big
Through
is
the
it say?
skylight.
I mean, it's like that, those wall safes that you see. They're about like that big around. You should have to fly it up at an angle. Then
So not like through the skylight.
No. It was already open when I opened it earlier.
all right. Would you care to share what's on the ledger?
I haven't really actually looked at it yet. I just kind of went home and I've been busy all day.
You have it with you?
Yeah. Like instantaneously. Like, blink.
Okay.
Excuse me a minute. I need to go to the restroom.
So what's on this ledger?
You want to give me an investigate roll?
Oh yeah, sure. With my super investigative powers.
Oh yeah.
Is anybody
Right,
else
exactly.
better at this than I am?
Yeah.
I can read, and I have a doctorate.
Oh, you can read? Oh.
In this specific
This
case,
case is solved. We have a reader on the case.
Okay, well, let me just quick observation. Is it written in like English or is it written in another language?
Oh, it's obviously written in English. You can read
okay. Okay.
I have
it, and it just
I'm just gonna
tricks
make a
of the
straight
trade
roll
and
then.
reveal hidden methods, perhaps.
I don't
Okay.
know who out of all of us is the best
Cool.
investigator.
That's probably all I'm gonna get, unless.
Yeah, you're gonna roll better than me then, so you can
All
just let you have that one.
Unless local rumors would apply too.
no, this is written information. This is not
right, that's what I figured.
Unless you want to ask some of your buddies, Gio.
Maybe
That seems like a bad idea. I mean, we could, but no.
Can we find out what's in the ledger
Yeah,
first?
let's figure that out first, and then if we don't understand, maybe then. But
We're about to get fucking
great success.
beat to shit.
All right. Wait, how do you have 6 powers? Or 6 power types?
I don't know. This character sheet is broken.
Make sure
So
you
how
don't
many-
have a plus positive status number up there.
Well,
with
he
checkbox.
naturally rolled
Oh,
a
that's what it
9.
is.
Yeah, he had naturally rolled a 9, so he would have a 10. So great success still.
Okay.
No, it would be a great success,
11.
but he used 2, so it would be he actually gets
Yeah.
3 out of that,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, 3.
Okay. All right. So you get 3 clues to spend. So you can ask me 3 questions, and I'll give you 3 answers based on what you see there.
What are the entire contents of the ledger?
Yeah.
No,
Worth a
ma'am.
shot.
Could we get like an overview that doesn't require questions? Like what is it? What do you mean by ledger? Exactly. Like
yeah, it's like financial
general
ledger.
information contained. Like that would be obvious.
It's definitely what you would expect from a ledger. It's the tracking of goods.
Okay. So it's okay.
Ooh.
Did Johnny reveal what was in the safe with it? Okay.
Rude.
Johnny, please. What goods are being tracked? And I mean, what goods are really being tracked?
No, that's not how you ask. That's not a question.
That's
that you ask.
my question.
That's not a question that you get to ask because it's not that obvious.
Okay.
Your first question is what goods are being tracked. It looks to be a ledger that tracks. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out what's the right way to describe this. Not like ingredients, but if you were to go, it's a ledger. It's an old ledger. It's an old book, right? It's leather bound. The pages are very yellowed. The way that it's kind of laid out. It's definitely before the printed press. So these pages are really kind of old, and they're just single line entries, and it's tracking these items or these goods that are being exchanged and purchased and sold and that kind of a thing. And the entire book is filled with them. So it's definitely a very old ledger. So that's what's in the book. That's what you see when you open the book. To answer your first question, it's definitely a code.
Okay. Do you guys think can we crack the code is a viable question?
Wait. You said the goods being tracked are a code?
It's obviously a code.
So when they say like, oh, we had a bunch of powdered donuts come in today, they really
No.
want cocaine.
Oh.
Bags of sugar, bags of rice, bags
Yeah,
of
okay.
grain, that kind of a thing,
Fuck.
right?
Okay. That's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Uh,
Tren, we need your brains. I'm pushing the panic button. Nothing's happening.
Did Cal come back from the bathroom yet?
Yes, he's fine.
That was a in narrative / real IRL.
Yeah.
bathroom break.
It was actually a little bit of both. Little bit of both. He's one. Trent had to go to the restroom. 2, at the mention of what Johnny did last night, Calvin is just bordering on just. I am out. He is so close to leaving. What is this?
A ledger that Johnny found in the safe, right? Is that correct, Johnny? Okay.
Asia, and it looks like it's a code.
Calvin leans down and takes a big whiff of the
Mhm.
book. And you say it's old.
Oh, it's old.
before the printed press. You said.
Before the printed press, the book is definitely a something that page. The act of writing. It was a journal. It was handmade. It was So it's very old.
Oh, sorry. I thought I muted myself while I was typing. I apologize for that. My bad.
You're fired.
Sorry. I was actually typing something to you, Johnny.
You're still fired.
Damn it.
It's bone glue.
That old?
Yeah.
Huh?
How filled is it, by the way? How full is the ledger?
From front to back.
Oh, it's like an original.
The last page is half full.
Interesting.
Would it be using another question to ask if the latest entries in it are more recent?
Yes.
Are like recent as in within the past few years, not ancient like the book itself?
Yes, that would be obvious that the entries are recent. So it wouldn't be a question.
Okay.
The dating on the entries, on the last couple of pages of entries, would be more recent. That's for sure.
And very gingerly turning to the very front of the ledger, does it have any listing of the company, the person of record who maintained this ledger, anything? Nothing. Interesting.
So is not going to count as your question. Number 2. Remember, you guys got 2 clues left to spend on this.
Okay. I'm going to put my idea out to the table and you guys tell me if there's a way we can create a question from this. Okay. So, out of character knowledge, Morrigan has her own kind of coded journal entry, but for patient, privacy reasons. So she has certain ways that she says things, right? So based on, the psychological... Morrigan right now is thinking this is probably written by either one of the Bjorns or somebody before them, but who knows, right? That kind of general idea. Based on the information that she has on those types of individuals, is there a way for us to create a question where she can analyze the code words being used to get a feel for who the type of person might be? I know it's a reach, but I want to put it out on the table.
The question for that then would be something along the line what items consistently come up that seem out of place as being a code?
Well, if their theme is food, for example, that doesn't necessarily have any real implication on the individual that's using that as code. There'd have to be more than that. There'd be some kind of patterned behavior, either in the cadence of how they say things or how often they repeat certain words, things like that.
Well, we don't know what they're talking about, because I think that's one of the questions. How are they referencing the coded items?
Sure.
Right? Is it coming up as places, or is it coming up as food? Is it coming up as animals? Is it coming up as all of them?
I have two obvious questions, which I don't think should count against us.
Okay.
For these questions. One, since it is a ledger and it's recording, shit like that. What is the date range from the front of the book to the back of the book? And the second question is the handwriting the same from the front of the book to the back of the book?
That was one of my questions. I didn't think that was...
Well, that would be obvious. Us looking at the book, we would be able to...
So the date range would be dating back, as you're looking at it, to before the Common Era. So BCE.
Wow.
How big is this ledger?
Jesus Christ.
It's quite a thick book. It's not the size of the City of Mist core book, but it's pretty damn thick. Let's be honest. And all the pages are filled. And the answer to the second question is yes, it's all the same person.
Okay. And those don't count.
But
right.
That's really beginning to start pushing the amount of information.
I agree.
Then my question to the table about the writing bit is, can I analyze that and determine the type of personality, like feminine, like that kind of characteristical type thing from the handwriting?
I think that would be a good and an analyst thing to do, because you would be able to tell if the person was probably well educated, if they were
Right.
a very practiced hand, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
I
back
think-
then, you would probably be able to tell the difference between female writing and male writing.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can kind of like. I think we can assume this was probably written by either Harold Bjorn or Mr. Gallows
Or
Can
Trisha.
you assume that?
or Trisha.
So I'm saying like there's two different gendered options here at this point, or non-gender. Like I don't know.
I feel like the contents of it are more important than which of the Bjorns. Like if we can get both, that'd be good. But I think
Sure.
I don't know. Are there locations recorded on it as well? Not a question. Not like a question.
No.
Okay. Are there names?
Yes.
Would it require a thing to see if there are names we
You're
recognize?
pushing it. You're pushing it. You're really pushing it. I mean,
I
you
think
guys are
okay. I
asking
think
me-
one of our questions would be like, what are the coded items?
Mhm.
A list of the coded items.
the listing of the coded items happens to be things like grains, sugars, the very common like food stuff that you would be able, you would sell in bulk, buy and trade and sell in bulk kind of a thing.
And we know Acer
Sorry.
doesn't deal with trading in like bulk foods, as far as I know.
Not that you're aware of now.
No, I think they're more a technical.
Well, no, it would be common knowledge. So based on my previous research, right, it's common knowledge that they're manufacturing and consulting for material goods. I'm reading off my weapons, pharma, and even research. And then obviously the heavy acquisitions side of their business. So like technically food isn't necessarily out of the question.
But why would you lock that up in a safe?
Right.
Yeah, obviously.
So, how do you feel about the question? What are the actual? What do each of these things like translate to? What does the code specifically translate to in regards to the objects or like things that are being shipped? Is that a question we can ask? Like,
You haven't cracked the code yet.
I was going to
Can we
say,
crack the
unless you
code?
want to give us the code.
is that a question? Is that a question? Can we crack the code with this roll?
No.
What?
We don't have the key. We don't have the key. What else was in that stupid safe? Johnny. Was there a key?
Was there a book?
I'm talking about our companion, Johnny, not the MC.
Oh,
Wait, Johnny, was there anything else with the ledger?
Yeah. That's it. And he's like, it's this weird little jewel thing that won't open. I can't even open it. So
Do you have it?
he like pulls it out and he's like, I planned on giving it back because it seemed useless to the investigation.
Let me see.
Nothing is useless to the investigation. What is this? What does it look like?
A very old, beautifully crafted, ornate box. Not like the size of a briefcase, but pretty close to the size of a briefcase.
That's a big.
It's a big case, and it folds open and like opens up, kind of a thing. It's not like it's just like a lid that kind of opens. It folds. You can see that it's the sides are equal in respect to when it opens up, and there are beautiful inlaid designs on it.
Does it look as old as the ledger does?
Oh yeah, except that it looks like it's been well taken care of, as if the wood has been treated and oiled and just lovingly cared for.
Interesting. I bet you the key's in this thing.
Did you say it was locked?
Yeah, I can't open it.
I think I can do something about that.
He like hands it to Geo, taking it away from Morgan.
I put it on the bar table.
He just slides it away from you.
I'm not gonna do anything with it.
This is kind of my thing. So let's go ahead and...
I was gonna say, because we shouldn't ask our questions if for some reason we can't actually open this damn thing. And then
I think you should ask your questions.
Okay, let's ask your
Well, can we-
questions.
Okay.
Can
we ask our questions after we open this?
I mean, like, one of the questions
You
we
can ask
could
your questions after you try.
He's implying we can't open it.
So, okay, so one of the questions we should ask is, are we able to devise part of the key from looking at common patterns? If you guys think that's a good one.
Are you saying that you want to spend some time and do some crypto analysis to this thing? Like do some like on paper, like start doing, frequency analysis?
I mean,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, Johnny would.
Right.
But I mean, like, this is Geo's investigation, though. With Geo.
Well, no, it sounds like the table is. I mean, so the group is working together on looking at these particular items.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, Geo is kind of ignoring some of his patrons, at the bar, but they see that he's engaged, so they're not really too bad,
I mean, Geo's like engaged with this, but he'll like occasionally just like make a drink and just slide it across the bar to whoever was looking for one without really looking at them.
Just like tappers.
Yeah.
So yeah, Johnny would do that if you guys think that's a good question.
I think it is. I think it is.
Okay.
Okay, so based on what you're looking at, there does not appear to be an obvious it's not obvious that some things represent other things. Let me rephrase this. It's not obvious that there is an actual code in what's written. So, the document as it's written. It is obvious that there is a substitution going on of some kind. For example, at the beginning of the book, there is one item entry that you can only find. And it is a piece of fruit. You can't really the name doesn't look too familiar, but it distinctly is a fruit type of name, and it is only given to one person. Or one entry. There is one entry for it. Mm-hmm. As you begin to look, there are cases where this is also true, where there's only one entry for it. However, in other cases, it is obvious that items were delivered and then they were received back. So, a pound of sugar or a bundle of sugar or a bundle of flour was delivered to somebody, and then it was delivered back. And then, so you see a pattern here where there appears to be a trading of goods and not necessarily a sale of goods. People.
It could
But
be
it's
like
always
a loan.
But it's always like the same good going and then coming back.
Yes.
Oh.
It's like the stupidity of asking someone if you can borrow a cup of sugar. Give it back to me when you're done with it. What? That makes no fucking sense.
Here's a bag of poop.
Yes, exactly.
So with obvious looking at the text, is there spaces in between each ledger? Like, is there like little spaces? Like when you write on a notepad that you like write the first line, give yourself a space, and then write on another line.
Oh, I hate that. Ugh. Double spacing. Ugh, bleh.
No, it's not written in double spacing.
So wasteful.
Okay, no space, double spacing. Okay. Is there any?
You're gonna start pushing it again.
No. I was just like, is there any like spacing in the at all in the book?
So I'll tell you one other piece of information that's going to be really helpful to you guys, just because it would be obvious.
Mm-hmm.
The format of the ledger is as follows.
Comic
Date.
Sans.
I didn't say font. I said format. Sure. Damn it. Date. Sent or received as a keyword.
Mm-hmm.
A name. And then the good that is being delivered.
Wait, only one name per line?
Only one name per line.
Okay. So that assumes that everything is being either given or taken from the person who wrote this ledger, I guess.
Right. You don't. The implication is that there is only that the person who is writing this is giving and receiving.
Mm-hmm. Should we ask for the names of people? I think that's probably...
Yeah, I was about to say that.
So let's start going through the names and looking for ones that we recognize, and for ones that we don't recognize, go to what's the search engine we determined?
Sage.
Sage.
Oh, Sage, yeah.
We Sage it.
I'm sorry, I saged earlier. I didn't Google.
Mm-hmm.
You saged. That's correct. I forgot about that.
Well,
Yeah,
so we
Sage.
want the names of everybody, especially if they repeat themselves, I would say.
What are the names? Are they like common names where they're like John Smith, or is it?
No, they are definitely uncommon names. They are definitely of what I would describe European. So occasionally you see things like, more of an Anglican name, or not, an Anglo-Saxon name, or maybe a Spanish name or a French name, but it's mostly Eastern European or North European kind of names, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as history goes on, as time goes on through the ledger, you're kind of just flipping through, right? The names become a little bit more common, and you recognize, more common structure of names. John Smith, Richard Cooper, that kind of a thing. Beth or Elizabeth, on, that kind of a thing.
Gary Gygax, right?
There you go.
He's on there.
John Harper.
Mm-hmm.
Amit Moshe.
Amit.
Mosh.
Vanessa
I don't know how
Carlton.
that's pronounced.
Yep.
So then, closer to where, like, our time period, we should recognize some of the names, right?
That is correct. You recognize the structure of the names, at least. And you're not sure if you recognize any of the actual names themselves.
Because it's not like this comes up into modern times.
Oh, it does.
Like weeks
Well,
ago?
the last page lists an event that happened on Thursday night.
Oh,
So yesterday.
What did that say was transported or sent or received?
is that going to be our last question?
Is that going to be your last question?
Does that require a question?
I'll give you that entire entry if you want, but that will be your last question because that.
How is that a question if we're reading it?
Yeah, that much should be obvious. We're not looking for patterns or anything.
We're literally
Because of the name of it.
reading.
I'm sorry, what?
We're reading. We're physically reading.
All right, well, ask me another question, then I'll give you it as the last bit of information. I'm just going to say this right now. You guys are really overthinking this.
Probably.
Right now,
Probably.
you are so hard overthinking this. There is one obvious question that one of you should be asking based on the action that you took with the book, but you're not. Just saying.
What do you mean based on the action that we took with the
What?
book?
Who did someone steal this?
Who does it belong to? Or
We already asked that question, though. If there was
We
any,
didn't.
like, personal information, like,
There wasn't any
identifying.
personal information.
Yeah.
If I have to point it out, it's going to cost you your third question.
I mean, if
Quick,
we
somebody
figured out
can-
ourselves, it'll also cost us our third question, right?
I don't know, guys. We literally spent like 20 minutes just talking about this ledger. So.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot more in the ledgers than just what you guys have been talking about, but that's what you get as the start. This is another trailhead. So
All right. I say we let Johnny tell us.
I don't care.
I mean,
what it is we're
yeah,
missing.
I can't think. Like, I stole it. That's the
We're
only thing
in
I can
too,
think about this
we're in too
letter.
deep now. We're too deep into the thought processes.
Yeah.
So, Cal, what did you do with it?
He smelled it.
I washed my hands. Okay, it's yeah, I definitely sniffed it. Had a good long
Smelled
sniff.
like Oscar. That'll be your third question. And the last entry is dated Thursday night. And the item in question happens to be a bag of flour. And it is sent to one Seth Anna Burke.
To Sage with that name?
Wait, did you say Sathana?
Burke.
Oh,
So
shit.
as in out of character, as in the Sathana that we out of character. I'm just making sure I'm understanding. I don't remember what her last name is.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, let's try for a search on Sage and maybe on the equivalent of Facebook as well.
That would be Oracle.
Is she making a cake?
Is that Oracle book?
There's already Oracle is already that's a thing. That's a software thing that exists already.
Yes.
Who's the many-faced god?
What was
Janice.
Okay, now who's Sathana Burke? Sage. Okay, Sage, tell me who Sathana Burke is.
Very little information, very little personal information is available on Seth Anna Burke. What you do know about her, though, comes up as that she is the executive assistant of the CEO of MCX Pharmaceuticals.
Calvin kind of closes just to make this official. Calvin kind of closes the book. Oscar Gallows.
What?
He's held this book recently.
What was the name of the company? Sorry, I'm typing notes.
Metacore X, I think, is the actual name of the company, but we've been calling it MCX.
And this book was taken from Asia Industries still?
Yeah.
Seems like Oscar might be a bit more involved with the company than we thought.
1,110.
Salty's got it in chat for you.
I thought I muted myself.
I mean, MCX has come up a few times too. Actually, all the businesses come in quite. Pandora got raided last night.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, Johnny. How are you? What?
I met someone after I raided a thing. You guys, Mr. Xanadu.
Oscar?
Malcolm?
No, Malcolm.
Oh, God, not Malcolm. Oh.
Okay, hold on. Let me understand this correctly, Johnny. Oh, please correct me if I'm wrong. You're telling me that after all the crazy stuff that already had happened last night, you went and broke into Acer Industries, stole a safe from the wall, and then fought or ran away from or hid from a dragon that was fighting a raven. And then you also ran into Malcolm, who now is... I don't even know what that is going on there.
I don't know, but he made a tunnel.
And Pandora got raided. Pandora's Delights got raided. I don't know.
Oh, so there's another group investigating this as well?
Okay. I think I need another drink.
With
So
Malcolm? Or Mr. Xanadu involved?
Yes. So do you remember the naked men fighting the gray suit men and the girl in that video?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're with Malcolm and Mr. G, he calls him. He said he's really good at working with wood.
Was that a joke? Okay. Was that a joke? No.
No.
Okay.
Shit. And Calvin pulls out his phone.
Who's Mr. G?
Gephardt.
Johnny, who's Mr. G?
He only said Mr. G. Wait, hold on.
Damn it.
Oh, so also they've been working with Flickr. I have all their numbers. Gephardt.
Who's Flickr?
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
As in Gephardt in jail, Gephardt?
I don't know.
Why would they be working with someone in jail?
Was Mal visiting prison or something? Or
No, they were in Pandora last night.
They who?
Them as a group. Flickr, Mr. G, Malcolm,
Wait, are you telling me that?
Not a Ninja JP, and then Scary Lady Flora.
Wait a second. So, when did Gephardt get out of jail?
He shouldn't be out of jail. He's a murderer.
I don't know.
You should join a club. Fuck, they're not the only other group that's working on this.
I'm
should we
sorry.
be concerned?
What? There's another group working on this as well? I don't. Okay, you know what? No, I don't want to know.
I got
This
a
is
text.
a whole nother problem. I need to
Text.
schedule a visit to the jail.
So I got a text from Roz the other day asking why I'm on Julia Sable's list.
Who's Roz?
Rosalind Percival.
Wait a minute.
Okay. Am I
That
supposed
sounds
to know?
familiar.
Yeah. Why do I know that name?
Oh shit. She's looking into Gephardt's case. She was talking to Derek earlier.
Well, she's working on
Is
this
it Roz
too.
or Flora? Am I mixing that up?
You're mixing
it
them
Flora.
up.
That was looking
Sorry.
up.
Okay. My bad.
So
Okay.
I sent her a text back saying, what list? And then it occurred to me, probably way too late, that if she's messing around with Julia Sable, then she's in as much danger as you and Flickr and Malcolm were.
So wait. Yeah. So, Johnny, do I know about Flickr mentioning where her board is? Was that I thought that was something?
That was what Malcolm told you.
Yeah. That where the location is?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
He would have told you about it. It was with Cal.
yeah.
Or Cal's building.
So, I guess Flickr has been using Cal's building.
Yeah, it's not my building anymore.
Oh, well, they Malcolm was talking about it. Something that's where Flickr's stuff is, or something.
Yeah, she's got a big freaking just one of those police string chart things all up in one thing.
Jesus,
I told them to
people
get out
actually
of
do
it.
that still.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what happened last night.
Wait a minute, they were there?
I don't know if they were there or not. Malcolm talks really fast, and then he totally he said something about it. It's kind of hard to keep track of what he was talking about the whole time.
I know.
But he's fun. He wants to go fight dragons.
You sure there's nothing else you're forgetting to tell us, Johnny? Because I feel
I'm
like
sure there's a ream of paper worth.
They made a tunnel to the arcade. I fed a bunch of kids in a warehouse. Malcolm tried to have me live there, but I have parents, so I can't live there.
Oh God.
I think that's it. Scary Lady works as a mortician with the cops?
Who's
That's
scary
who it
lady?
was. She's looking into Gephart's murder case thing.
Wait a minute. If she's working with him, what the hell does she have to look into?
Okay. I don't even know where to start with this right now. I'm going to try to not even think about the fact that there's a murderer walking amongst us right now. Don't say anything, Cal. I know you're going to. I can feel the sass just brewing within you. So just leave it.
How can a man be in jail and then not in jail?
Normally, he gets released.
Yes, Johnny.
So this is a really interesting point here for Morrigan, and I want to pause and ask a question because I'm really curious about it. Morrigan really is about the justice and about the vengeance.
Yeah.
How is she staying in control with that on the table?
Because there's a lot of other information. But
Is
if
it
she
because-
keeps thinking about it, that's not going to be good.
Right. I mean, so is it like the scales are still are unbalanced in her head about what needs to be done right now?
Yes, but I think right now at the point she's putting pieces together that here is what Morgan is thinking. Obviously not known to everybody yet, but this is what's going on is Derek contacted Morgan about somebody looking into Gephart's case. And now all of a sudden Gephart's not in jail, and that person that was looking into that is with him. So Morgan's thought is she broke him out of jail and now like trying to do whatever, right? Like with the case files. So she is right now battling calling Derek or going all out to the prison and finding Gephart. Like that is what's going on in her mind, and until she can figure out which way to go with that, like she's letting whatever is happening in front of her happen. That's kind of, I don't know, like I don't want to like storm off as a character in this scene right now, but yeah. She's about ready to.
One thing. So, I got a bunch of phone numbers. So I have those people's phone numbers, and then I have Mr. Smithers. You guys know Mr. Smithers?
From The Simpsons?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I thought, but these were all in Flicker's phone. Cal was in there. Flora, JP, who's not a ninja, Mr. G, and then Mr. Smithers.
What were those emails again?
Sorry,
Johnny,
what?
What were those emails again that you had, Johnny?
Oh, I sent him over to Morgan.
What were they of? Where did you get them from? Fucking hell.
Oh, I got them from an iPad I found in her office. I guess the password. She really likes wine from 1939.
So do I.
Johnny, first of all, thank you for finding this information. It is useful. Second of all, don't you ever fucking do that again.
What?
You're putting yourself in a lot of danger, all right?
I mean, no one's gonna recognize a crow.
You say that.
But who can recognize a crow? And I'm not a crow right now.
I could.
Wait, do I smell the same if I was a crow or if I was human?
It depends.
There are probably traces.
And he's not the only one.
And there are plenty of people who can see through.
Morgan is going to excuse herself.
Whoa, where are you going?
I think she's excusing herself the same way Calvin.
So long as she's not actually leaving.
Well,
Yeah, Calvin just glares at them.
She's secretly slinking off, turning into a crow, going to the prison, and discovering the true whereabouts of Gephardt.
Is that actually what she's doing?
I don't know. I'm just making it up as I go along, man. It's what I'm hoping she'll do, because I would love to see what happens next after that.
I mean, okay, so with all that information, what do you guys want to do tonight?
Can I see this box again? Can I try to open that? I'm just gonna ignore that question for a moment. Johnny, can I try to open the box?
I'm waiting for you to try to open the box.
It's still on the bar. The bar. It hasn't moved.
It's locked, right? There's a lock on it.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm gonna. Is this like a investigate or like a change the game? You muted.
I know. I would think that it's a change the game, unless you have some other idea of what you wanted to try to do here.
No, I'm gonna try and open this thing. I'm gonna use Tricks of the Trade and Master of Locks. To try and open it.
But I'm gonna throw Showman at you.
Oh well. All right, it's minus a 1 on that, and it's still 10. Great success.
Still a 10. Great success. You get 2 juice to spend.
Cool. I opened the goddamn box.
Nope.
Also, Morrigan didn't actually leave, right? She just went to the bathroom?
Yeah, no, she did. She went and made a phone call. Johnny, I messaged you privately on chat, Zoom.
Secret messages.
Did you, like, walk out of the bar? Or...
That's excellent, and we'll deal with that in just a second.
Okay.
That is so awesome. We're actually gonna do that. We're actually gonna do that live. Okay. So no matter how you try to open this, right? You try to use your abilities, right? It doesn't pop in that way. So you can get some things out of this though, because of the change of the game. You can find out more information about the lock, how it's made, construction. You can because of your abilities. There's a lot of information to be gleaned from this, but it will not open for you no matter how hard you try right now.
All right.
You've got 2 juice, so you can create a story tag on it, or you can create a story tag that relates to it. Those are 2 really good ways of just kind of altering the approach for you to try to open this next. Or you can hand it to Cal again, and he can smell it and tell you that it also smells like Mr. Callis. But that's.
I think we can assume that.
Are you sure?
Do nothing.
You're right. Does it smell like Mr. Gallus?
Let's see it. And so Calvin takes it and kind of sniffs all around it, no doubt garnering a few very bizarre looks from some of the other patrons. So he's been sniffing both of these objects.
You just like to sniff old wood glue, right?
No, bone glue smells horrible.
I wouldn't know. So
trust me. It's gross. So yes, is there a recognizable scent on the box?
There are multiple scents on this. Oscar's is definitely one of them. And most of them smell old. Like the sense, this box hasn't been touched in a while.
Okay.
So you will find out also from a story tag perspective that this thing is magical. Like it obviously is there. There is no physical means for you to be able to open it.
Okay. Can I determine what it would take to open it? Is it like a personal word of command? Is it a presence thing?
Based on your perception of the mist and the way things work in the world, presence is a part of it. Yes.
Okay.
But there is also an action that has to be taken with the box.
Okay. So I imagine this thing probably needs to be opened by Mr. Gallows. I can't do shit with it.
Well, let's go talk to him.
It's one step. Morgan, where'd you go?
I needed to make a phone call.
Lawyer.
Woo! We're gonna do a fade, and we're gonna go to that phone call. Morgan, where do you go to make the phone call?
Where do I go? Women's bathroom stall. I don't
Okay.
feel like I can go really anywhere. If I go outside, it's too suspicious. So
Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't let you.
That's okay. It hasn't been cleaned since 1915, but go ahead. It's fine.
Thank you for telling us how the quality of the Queen of Hearts women's bathroom, Cal. I'm a little concerned
Rude.
about how
They
Cal actually
clean
knows that.
They clean the women's bathroom, all right?
This is going to get to a gross conversation. We're just not going to get
yep,
it.
let's just not. Let's
Yep.
just get right over
Phone
that.
call.
Yep, phone call. I call into the prison and I ask for the status of Geffart. I actually don't remember his last name.
Caparelli.
Caparelli. Thank you.
Okay, so when you call in, is there specifically somebody that you call at the prison? Do you have a particular contact, or
Oh,
is
the
this
warden. Yeah, straight up. Called the warden directly.
Okay. So when you have the conversation with the warden, he says, "Hold on, why do you?" Well, actually, let's have this conversation.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Call initiates. He goes, "Hello."
Hi, good afternoon. Do we have a name for our warden? Now that I
No, but we'll come up with one.
Dread.
What?
Mr. Warden.
Dread.
Warden Dread.
Yes.
Douglas Dredd.
Douglas Dredd. Okay, Douglas Dredd.
Douglas Joseph Dread.
With 3 Ds. One at the beginning, 2 at the end.
Yeah,
Just
come on.
Douglas Joseph 3Ds Dread. Okay.
Okay, great.
That's actually his nickname too, 3Ds.
Anyways,
I don't even want to know how he got that nickname. Nope. Nope.
Right in the eye.
I'm going to call him by his first name because I worked with him extensively on multiple other cases. Hi, Douglas.
hello.
It's Morrigan.
Hey, Morgan. What can I do for you?
I'm really sorry to call you, and this is going to seem incredibly out of the blue, but I need to know the status of Geffart
Caparelli.
I want to say Carparelli, and I know that's wrong.
It's like a
Caparelli.
flat cap round. It's just
Caparelli.
like the
Is something up? Do you have some information for us?
No, I'm worried that something might be up. Somebody's been poking into his case, and it's just making me really uneasy.
All right. Give me just a second to send somebody out to check the last time he was counted as a part of the count. Give me a second. And he
Thank you.
puts you on hold. And he comes back and he says, no, he was counted. The last time we saw him, he was coming in from his time in the yard. He was counted at dinner, and then he was just counted for bed check before we locked him up for the night.
That's not right. I'm coming up there.
What? Should I be concerned? Do I need to put some eyes on him?
Yeah.
Morgan, I consider you a friend. Tell me what's going on.
I just don't know exactly what it is yet, but
Do you
with
want me to put him in?
everything-
Do you want me to put him in solitary?
no, don't let him know that something is up.
All right. I'll expect to see you soon then.
Yeah, I'm on my way.
Click.
Yeah. When Morgan gets back to the bar, I need to go up to the prison.
I don't doubt it.
Why?
Because somebody needs to be where they're not, and I need to make sure that they are actually still there.
Would you like some accompaniment?
I mean, you guys are more than welcome to come with me. I don't know if you would enjoy going to prison.
Oh, I suspect we're all bound there eventually.
Oh, I'm gonna go talk to Mr. Gallows.
Somebody needs to go with Johnny. At minimum, somebody has to go with Johnny.
Well,
Before we
he can try
split
to
up,
find it, really.
whatever we're doing, I think we should probably talk.
Okay. Let's talk about what exactly? I don't have a lot of time here.
We forgot about Morty.
What?
Morty, remember that guy we had in the alley, and he told us all that information. Oh, you weren't there. Oh no, you weren't there. Remember the guy in the Beast? He said find Morty because he was the weakest one, and he had information.
I don't have time for this right now. What do we need to talk about, Gio? Because this is very serious.
This is serious. And this has to do with whatever it is that you're about to do. I promise you.
Okay. Listening.
It's about yesterday, and it's about that conversation with the Beast, and it's about everything. It's about us, all right?
Are you sure this is a conversation we should be having here, Gio?
No, it is not.
Gio,
Because it seems like we probably shouldn't have this conversation here.
Gio kind of looks like around the bar, which is, I mean, populated, but not like overly. And he looks down at the stuff that we already have on the counter on the bar in front of us. This place is fine.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
Whatever it is that we are, it's beyond just ourselves. It's not the power we have isn't our own, all right? It's something that we're taking. We're using it. It's not ours. There is someone else, something else that is fueling it. I don't know what you are. I don't know what I am. But I know that whatever it is, it makes us do things we wouldn't normally do, alright? You see that guy over there? He points across the bar to where you see like a rather burly man, a big in just like every dimension. He's over 6 feet tall, he's broad-shouldered and, you know, barrel-chested. That's Mulligan. Every single day, he comes in here, he goes to the tables, he wins like you wouldn't believe. Cards, roulette, whatever it is, can't stop him. Then, afterwards, he comes to the bar, he drinks like you wouldn't believe, puts them back, gets blind drunk, goes back to the tables and loses it all. He's like us too.
Okay.
See,
I'm reading between the lines here, but I feel like you're not saying what you're trying to say.
I'm
Let me be
confused
clear.
where the lines are.
let me be clear then. Mulligan used to only win. Didn't used to drink, and he didn't used to lose. He used to come to the tables, Not just here, casinos all over town. And he would gamble, and he would win. See, whatever he is a lucky son of a bitch. And a cocky one, too. And as soon as he got a taste for whatever it is inside of him, I wanted him to just win. And not just win, but make others lose. See, he got a habit for going to tables, switching two people's cards, making anyone who pissed him off just lose, whether or not it meant anything gained for him. And, well, when it comes to places like these, there's some unsavory types who don't like that kind of stuff. And someone among them figured out what he was. See, I don't know if you know much about leprechauns, but if you take them in, they grant you wishes. Someone figured out what the hell he was, grabbed him, and now he owes favors to the largest crime organization in the country. Or in the city, rather. My point is, nowadays, he don't gamble like that no more. He don't play tricks. He doesn't let that part of him rise up. Because if he did, it would take over. He'd lose it. So he comes back to the bar. He drinks himself silly. Because that is what keeps him human. And Morrigan, after what happened yesterday, I don't want you to go away thinking that I reacted that way because I don't like you or because I'm afraid of you. I'm not afraid of whatever your powers can do, alright? You can do some crazy ass shit, we've all seen. What I'm afraid of is the fact that whatever is going on inside of you, whatever that thing is, whatever your leprechaun is, that ain't you. Whatever that crow wants, it's taken over. You can't let it do that. If there is any goddamn bit of your humanity left that you care about, you can't do that. And Johnny, you need to hear this too. Because with the shit that you're pulling right now, you're pushing it. I know it's fun to go around and play superheroes and act like you can do whatever the hell you want. And no one's ever gonna catch on, but the thing is, they will. And even if they don't, using your powers too much, you won't be the same guy anymore. And I like you, Johnny, I do. And you too, Morrigan. You're not bad people. You just gotta be careful that you're still you. Does that make sense?
I appreciate your honesty, but I'm sure that Cal does not share your empathy.
Did I miss something?
Would you like the list?
Yes.
All right. Breaking and entering, criminal trespass, destruction of private property, interfering in a police investigation, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, destruction of evidence, murder in the first degree, and for the rest of us, guilt by association after the fact. And those are just the things I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure that a very clever detective could probably come up with more.
Wait, murder?
Murder. And he looks right at Morrigan.
Wait, who got murdered?
Why don't you answer that? Wait, you probably don't even know his name, do you?
Nope. And it doesn't matter.
Oh, the beasts don't agree. And by the way, they would love to have a little chat with you the next time you're up at Cross End.
Maybe I'll go look for them.
A few more charges won't hurt. You know, everything was going fine, but no, you just decided we were having a nice conversation with him. And his name is Elliot. Excuse me, was Elliot, by the way. Having a very nice conversation. Yes, he is. On the top of that building, we were having a very nice conversation. We got some information. Did you get involved? No, you sat there on your little perch and said nothing until he left. And I want to know right now, why did you feel that he was deserving of being killed?
He wasn't deserving of mercy. And I'm sorry, Cal. Did I miss something or part of that conversation where you threatened him?
Yeah.
Or is that maybe the reason why you've been acting the way you have?
Oh, it's very much the reason.
Yeah? So whose fault is that really?
Yours.
Really? Did
Yes,
I threaten him? No. I acted.
No, you didn't threaten him, but you made it impossible for me to make amends.
Oh, poor Cal with his feelings.
Morrigan? Listen to yourself. You're not a cop. You're not judge, jury, and executioner. You're a therapist.
I'm not Cal's therapist.
Thank heaven for small favors.
What I'm saying is, this ain't you.
What was that supposed to be, anyway? Was that supposed to be your version of justice?
Justice is not relevant to you. You don't care about justice. You care about pleasures and desires that go on your whim, and you absolutely have no care or sympathy for what happens to those around you, only if it affects you.
So you said that wasn't about mercy, that there was no mercy, that he
There is
wasn't
no
deserving.
mercy in this world.
Justice is the tipping point between mercy and vengeance. You need to balance those scales, lady. And he turns, gets up off the thing, and starts making for the door.
So I guess I'm going to the prison by myself.
You just see like this dark look over Johnny's face right now. Sorry, I get something down the wrong pipe. Perfect timing. And you just see him, and he quietly like just picks up his bag and grabs the suitcase and just walks out the door. It doesn't say anything to anyone.
What do you say, Gio?
You're walking a dark road, Morrigan.
Nobody cares to walk the road with me, so I have to do it myself.
I'm willing to walk the road with you. With Morrigan Kane. Not with the crew.
We're basically the same thing.
You're not. Stop telling yourself that. You're not.
I'm not. I don't have anything that ties me to this anymore. It's uselessness. Everyone that could be relevant to that part of me is gone, dead, or just abandoned me. So, no, there's really no point of holding on to something that's fragile and frankly, everybody just sees as the crying shoulder when really all they need to do is suck it up and deal with it.
That's not why you started your job.
No, I started my job because I thought that I could make a difference. That's obviously not the case. And it hasn't been for a very long time.
You really believe that? You can't make a difference with what you do?
Until I had what I have, I couldn't do anything. Everything that I am now is because of the crow.
Everything that you are.
Everything.
But is that everything you should be?
Nobody knows
What you
they
are
should.
is a murderer. You know that, right? Some part of you?
People are many things, not just one.
You don't have to be. You don't have to let that part be the most important to you.
Gio, you don't understand. There is no sense of guilt. I don't have it. It's gone. It's been gone for a long time. I can't feel the way that Cal feels. I can't feel the way that you feel.
Do you
That's
want
been
that
taken
back? Because you can't have it back.
Really? How am I going to do that?
In one way or another, the same way Morrigan does. Do things that make you human.
Well,
Real
then I have
connections,
somebody
real
to go
people.
visit at the prison that will make me human, because that person did murder his family and was convicted and is now apparently roaming the streets. So I don't know, maybe I should be focusing on that instead of this, whatever I don't even know what to call that thing with the Bjorns and the sisters. There is a rabbit hole there that if we keep going down is going to lead everybody to a path of destruction. Not just me.
But there is something drawing us deeper and deeper down it.
You don't think that's a bad thing?
I don't think we have a choice. I think it's a bad thing. I would very much like to not have to have any part of it. But whatever's going on here, it's not letting it just be.
Well, I can't apologize to Cal because I'm not sorry. So I don't know what to do with that situation right now. The immediate problem that we have is that there is somebody who is helping a convicted murderer. And I don't think that we can just, they're investigating the same cases. Like, what is going on? How deep does this go? Are they part of the whole thing? I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything anymore at this point. At all.
Listen, whatever it is, I want to get to the bottom of it too. Because it has something to do with why we're the way we are. With more people like us. And it keeps bringing us together, and really I'd rather it didn't. But if you're going to be a part of this, you can't be a part of it just for the sake of striking down whoever's responsible. You have to actually want it. You have to want the truth.
I don't think we're going to find the truth. I think the truth is so old and buried that we're never going to find it. What would you do if you were in my position? If you had the things that I have and the inability to feel what humans are supposed to feel. I'm not talking about serial killers. I've dealt with that. I understand that. There's something that just stops me from feeling it, and it's not a psychological thing. What would you do? Like, I'm supposed to cast down the crow? What am I? I can't do that. You have no idea what losing that part of me did.
You're right. I don't.
Even just for a day, not even a day, several hours. And I was a complete fucking mess. I can't function without it.
You can.
Yeah, sure.
You think that being the crow makes you stronger.
Because it does.
Doesn't.
Humans
still
are not
human,
built
no
to
matter
do the
what.
things that we're trying to do. No human could figure out what we're trying to figure out. That's just pure fact. That's why we have these abilities, is to do things that no one else can. And unfortunately, some of that sometimes means, bashing a few heads in, as they say. Realizing she's actually still in the bar and is being a little bit outwardly open about everything. Too open. Listen, the warden at the prison is waiting for me. So either you can stay here, go deal with Cal and Johnny, or come with me.
I'll go with you.
Okay.
I'm
not going to do anything illegal. I'm at a prison, for Christ's sake.
I
want
trust
to preface that.
Don't worry.
Just want to let you know, in case that wasn't, in the cards.
No pun intended, given where you are.
Oh yeah, totally. Totally was definitely pun intended.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, I don't know what you need to do to relieve yourself from your work obligations, but yeah.
Well, it looks like it is about 5 o'clock, so that is actually my shift.
Oh, that's convenient then.
I hope we can work together, Morgan. I really do.
I have no personal dissatisfaction with anybody in our group. However unlikely it is for us to be working together in any way. And I use working together very loosely in this case right now. But for whatever insane reason, we are stuck to figure this out. And I don't know why. But it is what it is. Right?
It is what it is. And once we get to the bottom of all this, you won't have to see me again if you don't want to.
It's not like I dislike you. You got some issues, though. I will say that.
Yeah. Takes one to know one.
All right, I'll be in my car. I'll pull up front.
All right, close up here.
Do I see Cal or Johnny on my way out of the casino?
Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny is currently at the front door. He's like holding it shut and he's like gripped it like super hard. And he's not moved, but you see he still has that like dark look on his face and he's just like sitting there.
And Calvin is down the street.
Yeah.
Gone.
Imagine like people are like trying to open the door,
Yes.
but like he's just holding it there. And it doesn't look like he's like paying attention to anything.
He's just got a scene from Office Space. Couldn't have to set fire to the building. Looping in his head.
Okay. I guess if there's no other doors, I guess I have to try to get Johnny out of the way. I'm guessing there's no other doors. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, there are definitely other doors, but
I was
that's
going to say fire
That's like-
code.
Yeah, that's the like exit that you're supposed to go through.
Okay.
And there is the back door that we came in on the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But that's like behind the bar and stuff.
Yeah, she don't want to go out of her way to do that. Okay. Johnny. I need to leave. Can you please open the door?
I can't leave.
Why?
Promise me you won't kill anyone again.
I can't make that promise, Johnny.
Promise me!
I cannot make a promise that I don't know if I can keep.
And literally that voice like booms throughout, it like shakes the building.
Geo.
Calvin hears that down the street and just kind of nods.
Geo's like quickly like just trying to like calm everyone and be like, "Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it." Goes to the door.
Well, this is not a mafioso. This is not a made place. There are a bunch of guns starting to come out as everybody's flipping out.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Johnny, we are not in a really great place for you to be having this discussion with me. So let's walk outside so as to not disturb the rest of the people here because they don't need to hear this.
Not till you promise me.
No.
Then the briefcase comes up at Morrigan.
Okay.
Through the door?
No, like he's holding one
swinging
hand like
at me.
this, and I'm swinging the briefcase at her.
Right, but you're holding the door closed, right?
Yeah.
She's
on the
inside, you're
inside.
outside. Oh, he's on the inside. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
thought he was outside. Sorry.
I'm inside the door. I never walk out the door.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry. I completely misunderstood. Go ahead.
You could still hear him though. That down.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Do you want me to roll it?
You're going to throw it at her.
No, I'm gonna hit her with it. And back her, make her fall back.
Oh man. Wow. Okay. So let's talk about this for just a second, just because I want to make sure I understand what your ultimate goal is. Your ultimate goal is to kind of push her back.
Yeah. He's not trying to hurt her. Even though he's super angry, and like what you see is just like what with that voice. It sounds like a fucking foghorn that has just gone off in this place, like super loud. And he's like, his voice is billowing right now, and like you just see his eyes like slowly like just like that. He seems like a little bit bigger like than he normally was, and he's like his hair is a little bit more like spiked up right now at the moment. And you just see like this like anger that is just emanating from him. Yeah, and then what he's doing is that he's just swinging the case back at her and holding the door shut.
Okay. Based on that description and based on this Johnny's state of mind, there are a couple of moves that I think can happen here. It can be go toe-to-toe. But then I'm going to think that I would think that Morrigan also should roll it at the same time.
Okay.
Or it could be a change the game where you can introduce it, where you can try to do that, and if you get some juice, you can spend some story tags that might motivate her to move back. Or you can take a risk, and you'll be the only one making the roll. But then she's going to get whatever action that she takes if you fail.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying not to remove player agency from Morrigan in responding to this. What I am definitely trying to do though is give you an opportunity to execute this.
So, okay, I have a question for Meta then. Meta, was Morrigan expecting this to happen? Okay, so then I'll roll go toe-to-toe. Go toe-to-toe.
Okay.
But would Johnny know that Morrigan was expecting this to happen?
No.
Given his emotional state, I wouldn't think so.
No.
So you're expecting her to react the way that most people would if you hit them with a briefcase.
Yeah.
Which is to fall down.
Yes, like when he accidentally bumps into people.
Yeah. So I think this is just my commentary. I think that's a take a risk because he's risking the implication that he's about to hit his friend, supposed friend, or whatever companion that they've been hanging out with, right? So Right now, I'm not standing in like a defensive posture or in his face. That's why I'm just gonna say that. Put that out there.
Okay, so we can do take a risk.
I think it's a good idea. What I was also going to say is, if you were going to go toe to toe, given your response, Meta, about where Morgan is, the alternative would have been I would have said for him to roll toe to toe and you to go face danger, or even potentially change the game so that you can react and prevent yourself from actually hurting him, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so take a risk sounds good.
Okay. So I'm going to use Inhuman Strength, Ultimate Fighter, and Parry.
Thought you weren't gonna hurt me.
This is what's going on. Like, he's emotional right now. So
you are gonna hurt me.
He's not trying to hurt you.
Okay.
But this is Johnny being emotional. So I'm gonna do it a +3. Take a risk.
Can I ask you something? Can I ask you something there, Johnny?
But I think he is hungry because he never got that burger.
Okay, I was going to ask you something else, but that makes sense too. I was actually going to ask you about whether this was a face the nemesis kind of a situation, given that it sounds like Johnny sees her as a threat.
Yes. So I think that one totally fits too. So
it's either or your choice. And then just to count attention to whatever theme that you pick.
I think hungry has to, because he doesn't see her as a nemesis. He wants her to not kill people. That's not necessarily a nemesis. This is like more how Johnny probably is thinking about it when like if Wolverine and Captain America teamed up. Essentially, like, Wolverine will fucking kill people. Captain America would be like, no, don't fucking kill people you don't need to kill. Captain America is about killing people, but like not in that instance. So he's a
Boy Scout. Yeah, absolutely. So Johnny's the Boy Scout and Morrigan is the vicious
Wolverine.
Yes.
So I'll do it at a +2. Is that right? Just one weakness tag or both?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I will take a risk. A 9?
No.
Okay. So you ultimately were just trying to get her to move back, right?
Yeah.
So it does come at her and connects with her enough to throw her off balance, but because it's a 9, there's a consequence. Meta, what does the Morrigan do as the consequence?
Oh boy.
See, last night it was going to be a TPK because they were fighting a succubus. Tonight we're going to kill each other. See, Team Esper, we take care of things ourselves.
Could the complication be that Meta or Morrigan is hurt? As if that, because it wasn't Johnny's intention, perhaps.
I'm leaving it up. To.
I would say Morrigan. Yeah, it's Meta's choice, but
it's Meta's choice because I want her. Because if Morrigan is expecting this, then she may decide to take the hit because she knows that she can probably take it, or she can react and do it defensively. However, she wants to handle this, right? I think because she's in anticipation, it's totally within the ballpark for Morgan to anticipate and do exactly, to execute exactly as she would expect to in a difficult situation like this.
Yeah, I'm torn right now, trying to figure out which one of her personalities would actually react to this, because the therapist in her is preemptively waiting for it, but I don't know if it stays true when the act is completed. So
go with your instincts.
The instinct is bad because Gio just talked about being bad.
Let that drive your state. Let that drive Morgan's actions and be her state of mind.
Okay.
Shit, guys, it's the first PvP.
So, is this like a
This is
ta-
a
like
real
sword
relationship
type
test
or
right now.
something? Like, what happens exactly? Like, what is the mechanic here? Do I just say what she does?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you get to respond.
Yeah, this is problematic because of the fact that there's also a lot of other people here, but
It's
she's
also
already
problematic because you guys are in a relationship, and this is going to be fun.
yeah.
To see how that conversation goes afterwards.
Yeah, so
I'll be on the couch tonight.
Morrigan appears to take the hit, and she does not like fall over or anything, but like as she like gets hit in the face or whatever, like that kind of shifts her body away. When she looks back, she stares directly into Johnny's eyes. Her eyes are completely pitch black all the way through, and she shows all of the guilt that she has seen from the last 3 people to Johnny.
Roll face changer, Johnny.
Roll what?
Face
danger.
danger.
Face the danger. Okay. With this one,
It's a psychological attack.
yeah. Can I use Indomitable, Ultimate Fighter, and to beat them at everything?
Yeah, I think that those 3 make sense.
Okay. All right. And I'm still a -1 to
Weak when hungry.
Weak when hungry. Yep.
Yep.
So do I mark attention again?
Yeah.
Okay. So this would be a +2. Let's see what we get. Face the danger. It's a 9.
Sorry, I just muted myself. I did not mean to do that. Okay. Morrigan, what does that ability do when it conveys a status?
It depends, but in this particular case, Morrigan knows that the main threats in Johnny's life are not adults. And so all of the guilt from an adult and then add 3 more of those people is very heavy in weight. And what she's trying to do, it's almost like flashes of like regrets and sadness and guilt for things. They're not all of them are like super dark either. They're things like that we regret and feel guilty for on a daily basis kind of deal. But it's like concentrated, right? So it's like a heavy, yeah. What's up, Cal?
Which 3 people?
The last 3 people that she sensed guilt on.
Was Calvin one of them?
Yep.
Okay.
She tried to sense guilt on Geo. She didn't get specifics, but she knows that he feels guilt. So those 2 are part of it.
Right. Well, there's only one piece of guilt that she would have gotten from.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. And then the 3rd one would have been, let me make sure I'm remembering our timeline correctly.
Derek?
Manny, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, because I haven't interacted with anybody else.
Do we
In
know
that
you
way.
saw Manny?
Huh?
We know you saw Manny, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cal was there.
But you
Oh,
didn't.
yeah.
Okay, you didn't sense guilt on Derek. So.
No.
No.
So Manny, Cal, and Geo are the 3. And the purpose of this is not to be like a hurtful attack. It's to be a, what's the word I'm looking,
Enlightening.
yes. Is that people suffer more than you can possibly imagine in your young age kind of deal. So the status in this case would be open mind.
Open mind. Okay. So
we can call it something else, but do you see where like I'm going with that?
yes, I do. What was the amount of what was the amount of power? It was 2 because of the weakness, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to take a tier 1 open mind. And
Okay.
the effect basically operates, and anytime anytime that you're dealing with something psychological, until you remove this status, because I just reread the rules on how long statuses actually last. They actually are prolonged until somebody removes them or until you remove them.
Mm-hmm.
But in this particular case, it only is going to affect you in psychological situations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to have the effect of a weakness because it's going to give you a little bit of doubt. You're going to be uncertain of your position because she's opened you up to larger perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
only in psychological situations. So, any type of situation where you would be completely 100% sure of yourself. It could be physical, it could be mental, or whatever. Comes up until you remove the status. It's one of those situations of doubt. Things like analytical, investigation, that kind of thing, not so much, right? But if you're going toe to toe with somebody in a fight, that's when it's going to apply.
Okay.
That would be an example of when it's going to apply.
So wait, how do I get rid of statuses then?
They're montages. You can recover,
Okay.
and because it's a tier 1. It should be very easy for you to just kind of shake it off as a montage.
Okay. So at this moment, what Johnny's going to do?
Uh-oh.
You see, like Johnny, like he gets all those emotions and all those, like, he sees how Tren is like affected by the death of the person, or Cal. That Cal is okay. The Cal is affected in this moment, like and like feeling the tears on the beach when he laid the jackal flower, whatever the fuck that was called.
Jackal food. Yep.
He laying that down on the ground and like crying at the beach, knowing that he can never.
Subway station.
The subway, but
Was it a subway station?
Whatever.
I literally thought it was a coastal thing.
Oh.
Subway
What?
station, right in front of the building we were standing on.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, so that was different in my brain.
I mean, it was slightly down the road, but yes.
Okay, so he that's the mist really just corrected my memory on that. So he's putting down the jackal flower and like feeling the guilt and sorrow from that, and then from Geo, just a general guilt of what he felt, and Manny, whatever guilt Manny felt, I guess, per se. I don't remember exactly what it was with that. And you just see him and he's like holding the door, and he like lets go, and he like walks up to her and just walks up like directly into her face, and he's like, just don't kill anyone,
Johnny.
and you just see like a lot of emotion like coming from Johnny. Like, I can't cry on command because I'm not that good, but like there's like tears like rolling down his face, and like a booger like out of his nose, and he's like, he's just staring at you.
Morgan's staring right back, and then her, like, she has that very stern, like, your parent just apprehended you kind of look. You know the look well, because she's dealt with lots of children before. She had to, put her foot down kind of deal. And her she's like really tense because she did not want to do that, but like it had to happen kind of deal with her. And she like relaxes and her face gets softer. Johnny, you are the only reason why I'm able to even walk as a human being right now. Please do not become my enemy.
I'm not becoming your enemy. I'm being your friend. Don't kill anyone.
There's a lot more to that than you can possibly understand. I'm not going around willfully doing it. It's just an impulse that when she takes over, that's it.
No, you're stronger than that.
Johnny, you don't know me very well. You've known me for what, 3 days?
No, you're stronger than that. Just promise me.
We've already done this. I cannot
Just
make promises.
promise me.
I don't make promises. People break promises. I don't break promises.
Then fine, we're done. And then he leaves.
Is this day over yet? Morgan walks out the door and gets her car.
Gio's been on like damage control, trying to like calm everyone in the goddamn bar. He's been like trying to use like misdirection, like just turning up the volume for the speakers like super loud for a minute and being like, "Oh, that was just a weird technical issue. No one worry about it." And like trying to like get attention to him and like just offering like free rounds of drinks. Come on, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the kid. I'm sure his mom's taking care of it. And just trying to draw as much attention away from those people as possible. Before they...
So it's at that moment that a gentleman walks up to the bar and asks for a glass of wine, or a glass of wine. As you're just kind of finishing up and quieting everything down. And you kind of reach back, realizing what his vintage is, grabbing, kind of bringing it up, kind of putting it on the table, or putting it on the bar. And there's a 50 right there. And you don't look up at him as you're just like, that's too much. And he says, I want a name. And you look up at him, and he is this 6'2", bald, scarred face.
Fuck.
Dirty white suit. Flanked by 3 bodyguards. Who was that?
Oh. I'm sorry.
Don't play coy with me, son. Who was the man and the boy? Or the woman and the boy?
Who's asking?
He reaches his hand across, and it's his big fat fingers. My name is Mr. Ladalius. And that's where we're going to end it.
Oh my god, that was fucking awesome, you guys! Holy shit, well played, everybody!
Oh God!
That
Oh,
was fucking
was
beautiful.
great.
Every fucking one of you, absolutely well fucking done.
Likewise.
More.
Role play. Okay.
I told you it was going to be a roleplay heavy day.
I'm so happy.
Oh, I had to
That
think
was
people that I
crazy
really
intense.
hated to get annoyed with you as Morgan versus Cal, because I was feeling so cheerful today. And I'm like, this is completely opposite of what I'm with you right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm.
Good God.
That was great. God,
Ah,
such a good episode.
yes.
Thank
Unlike
you guys
other
so
shows,
much.
we have inner turmoil.
Yeah, we're not all like best friends right away, guys. Jeez, so unrealistic.
This is how Blades went kind of too. While other people who started going off and doing things, we were just like, well, we kind of hate each other and want each other to die.
Yeah, but then by the end, Sky had somebody in love with him, and he was just a dick about it.
Yeah, but he made it better. They resolved that. They had a real connection. There was a happily ever after scenario there. All right.
All right, whatever.
They move on.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
It's all in good fun. Everyone is messed up in some way. And sometimes they get better. Hopefully.
I mean, let's be honest. The mythos of our characters altogether just does not work.
No,
Beautiful.
I know.
it's wonderful.
That conflict is
love it.
amazing.
I love so much just the like disparity there, and the like good, evil, and like self-centered kind of that is like kind of absorbing the group. It's so good. It's so good. Let's do the thing that we usually do and go around wrapping things up by asking everyone what your thoughts on this episode were and where we can find you online and stuff, starting with Meta.
Oh, okay. Hi guys, I'm Metamancer. You can find me on twitch.tv/Metamancer or on Twitter at the Metamancer. And this episode is exactly what it needed to be, and then some, big time. We've been kind of waiting for this to happen since Morrigan killed Elliot, and it could have gone so many different ways. But the fact that it went down the way it was with everybody versus just Cal and Morrigan is so much better. Because it, like, again, this is something I talked to about, I've talked to Joe about it offline because as a GM, I'm doing the one thing that I shouldn't do as a character, and that's isolate myself from the rest of the party. But it makes for really good RP and storytelling because Gio completely hit the nail on the head. Morrigan is primarily mythos, and she's losing her humanity. Like, I have fades and cracks in my logos, and I've only got one logo. So if that's gone, we all done fucked up. So I really like that this happened in this episode. I think it's a perfect time because Morrigan was already burnt out from the fact that she was missing a critical part of the thing that balances her. And even though she recovered those burn power tags, like, the mental damage is still there. So she's on that fine point where she's slightly and then recorrecting and then slightly and recorrecting. So from her character perspective, now she just got faced with all the things she knew was coming, but it all happened at once. And on top of that, a very important piece, which is Gephardt, was brought up, and that is what set her over the edge. That's why she was willing to just say, fuck it, and I don't care anymore, because my personal, ego here doesn't matter. There's somebody I need to go deal with. And so when Cal confronted her, there was no reason for her to lie. Not that anybody had confronted her before about it directly, so I loved it. I thought it was great. I could talk all day about it, but I know we got to get out of here. Please, carry on.
I guess that leads it to me then.
Go for it.
You had your tipping point for Morrigan when the Gephardt thing came up, and for me, for Cal, it was he probably could have held off a little bit longer after the meeting at his front door and the pancakes, and he's just like, all right, I can just deal with this until I can talk to her directly. But the second he found out that Johnny went off and broke in to someplace and stole shit, and that was just one more crime on the pile, and that was his tipping point. And it was just so it was and so the part about how everything's for his pleasure and it doesn't matter, I'm like, yes, I'm shovel it on him, oh my god, I love this show, I love this group, I love it so much. Anyway, I mentioned earlier a reading by Helen Mirren. I said Achilles, but it was Ulysses. And I will post that link in Twitch chat here in a moment so everybody can go and watch it when we're done. In addition to that, earlier today, the Escape Pod, for whom I occasionally do narrations of short stories and whatnot, the latest episode got posted earlier today of a narration that myself and Divya, one of the other narrators and producers on Escape Pod, we partnered to do a narration of a short story, and that went up today. I will also post that link so that you guys can go and listen to that narration if you so choose. It's really funny because it's like an artist and a robot meet up, and it's crazy. But anyway, so that's me. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that's usually where you can find most of my announcements whenever I'm doing things. Next thing I have coming up is on Saturday. We will be playing Adventures in Middle-earth. That's Tuesday. It's the Infinity and Beyond crew over at Arvin Eleron's channel, where we are continuing the Rise of Tiamat, D&D 5th edition. It's going to be amazing. Maybe not as amazing as this, but close, very close. And McLogan.
I felt like the Brady Bunch right there.
That's why I do it.
Hello, everyone. That was a fucking crazy episode because, like, we investigated some shit. I liked it because, like, I got to talk to you about the video that we will be posting out online at some point of the adventures of Johnny as a crow. Because we played it offline, and then I like that I got to play that out, telling everyone about it and seeing everyone's dumbfounded reaction of going, "What?" Like, because no one knew. No one, Meta maybe knew. That's because she could hear my dumb ass in the fucking other room. But I think the part where Johnny, because I messaged Johnny, I was like, I wanna do my voice, and so he let me do it. It's not a power that he openly has, but like I think he's just so full of emotion right now that like his mythos is like bleeding over into that point. And I think that was a really great way to, and I love the conflict in the party. Because Geo's like very much like, hey, you know, fucking ride or die, motherfucker. That's what I kind of got from it, you know. And Morrigan's just like, this is the way I am. I was born this way. And then Cal's like, here I go again on my own. And then I don't know what Johnny's song is. I really ran out of songs right there. Carry on my wayward son. That's what he was. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, 70s. I think,
70s. Sorry.
Yeah. So he basically is very much in a state of limbo because, like, one of his, you know, he was thinking this is a superhero group, and now he's realizing this is more like X-Force that he's like joined with, like Morrigan killing people, and like he's not coming to terms with it. Still, that's Johnny's never.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny still has that, you know, that innocence about him for the most part. And so it is. I don't know. I thought it was fantastic tonight. I thought there was a lot of good role playing on everyone's part, and yeah.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But yes, it was a doozy. Yes,
it was a doozy of an episode.
What about you, the real Johnny?
I'm not real. I don't really exist. I wasn't even in this episode. What are you guys talking about? I mean, this was like 3 hours of me just like, you know, grabbing some popcorn, just kind of, you know, watching the show. It was really great. I had a good time. I learned a lot about the characters. I learned a lot about the dynamics of where this is probably going to go for the rest of the season, and it's just like, I love it. I love every freaking minute of it. I think you guys did amazing tonight. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this in detail again because I need to make sure I play on a couple of nuances of the conversation between Geo and Morrigan and between Cal and Johnny. It's just there's some things there that is just perfect for me to just like poke you guys with. Oh, hey, right there. Does this work? Right there? Exactly. So, anyways, that yeah, you guys did amazing tonight. It was crazy to watch. It was crazy to participate in. I think you guys did phenomenal. It was great. And yeah, my link's in chat. You can find me, you know, Twitch, everywhere is VideoStoreCowboy except for Twitter, where it's VidStoreCowboy because of the stupid 15 character limit. And yeah, that's it. That's me.
Awesome. Yeah, this is probably my favorite episode so far. I mean, they just keep getting better, which is a fantastic way for things to progress. But I absolutely loved it. Like, that was some intense roleplay going on, and like I like that like things finally got to come to head with all the issues that we were kind of like trying to skirt around before, and I kind of knew that it was going to happen this time because I felt like there was no way Geo couldn't bring it up after the last time we saw him was him literally just having a breakdown in an alley. And the reaction from Morrigan was about half what I expected and half of things that continue to blow me away. And it was so good. Also, seeing like Johnny kind of like reinforcing the idea that Gio was putting forth, but in a way that was like completely his own and completely just like Johnny, pure good boy, like wholesome child who must be protected, was just really great. And getting to express more of like what Gio was thinking was cool too, and like little bit of his backstory put in there. There's a lot more to why he feels the way he feels than what was expressed here, and I can't wait for that to come out too. But yeah, all together, fantastic. You guys did awesome. Like all of them said, there's all the links in chat for where you can follow all of these wonderful people. Go do that. Seriously, they're all great. Each of them does their own things, all of them except Trendane stream, and you know they're all just super awesome people and role players in general. Also, you should definitely go follow on Twitter 6N20. The link is in chat for that. This thing we do, 6 and 20 in City of Mist, is a collaborative effort. It is 3 crews of each of 4 different players, all in the same world. So you've probably heard reference to a few of them today. Gefhart is actually another player in the Wednesday game over on Unmade Gaming. So definitely go follow Unmade Gaming. He came in with a raid earlier as well.
Roz is on Tuesday.
Yep, and it is.
And Sathana.
Sathana, and there's mention of Flora and Roz, and yeah, all do their own amazing job in their own right.
And Malcolm, but
we're the first crew to realize that there's 2 other crews looking into the same problem.
Yeah, I'd call that a win.
you know why? Because we are the best team.
Yep.
Fractured though we may be, we are the best team.
Absolutely.
Fractured. You call yourselves fractured? I would say that you're bordering on.
Esper.
I would say you're bordering on,
Shattered.
falling apart. And I want to address something that Meta said earlier. You saying that reminded me of what she was saying about doing the one thing that most GMs don't like, which is splitting the party. And the games that we're playing are not your typical hack and slash sort of, setting where splitting the party seems like a really bad idea. This is great conflict. It's great storytelling, and I will be happy to indulge, the party going off. I mean, look, we did Johnny the Crow, side adventures here. So I think what makes it great is when the party comes back together, when the group comes back together, when the crew comes together despite the odds, and you do amazing things. So please split the party all you want.
Yeah, I was, by the way, mostly referencing the fact that my character's personality is isolating herself away from everybody,
right,
rather than the physical aspect of splitting the party, like the we go this way and you go that way kind of thing. Granted, that is actually happening, but I'm referring to building character, like the D&D concept of having an evil character in the party is the reason why you shouldn't do that.
So I
this is the reason you should do that.
No, I didn't like it, but that was my point. Is that's true.
No, I get that. But so that brings up there's a great conversation to be had there, and you probably should go talk to Eric Vulgaris about this, because he's much better versed on the whole do alignments really make sense in the context of evil and good parties, that kind of a thing. The long and the short of it is, though, even if it's a psychological split, it's still a split, because the motivations are incredibly different. The thing is that despite all of the different motivations and the isolating, either psychological elements or the physical elements, depending upon how you want to, you play your character, I am not one of those GMs that's going to say that every single time, when somebody says, well, that's just what my character would do, is a bad thing. I am gonna call you on it. But when it's great storytelling, especially when we're in front of an audience, 9 times out of 10, I'm just gonna be like, regardless of how you're doing it, I'm glad that you're doing it, because it makes an amazing story.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
Yeah, I think Gio put a good point. Gio and Cal put a good point towards Johnny, is that even though you can do it, you shouldn't fucking just break into shit. And I think that's where, Johnny's really running into a fact that, like, hey, he has to come to terms that what he's doing is not correct, even though he's doing it for good terms. He's not doing things that are good, and he's not realizing that. And I think he's starting to really come around to that.
Well, he's got a kid's level of sensibility, right? Respect to the rules don't. The rules are the rules, and sometimes you break the rules to do the fun stuff.
It's like a teenage boy. You break into abandoned buildings to fucking break shit, and so, but you're not supposed to do that, because there's construction workers that come back to that and they're like, the fuck these kids, and like right now, I kind of just, he hasn't realized it yet, and it might come to head if he goes to Mr. Gallows. I don't know what he's gonna do yet. If he comes to Mr. Gallows and he's like, I broke an Acer building, and he's gonna see the reaction from that, because he's kind of working outside of the social norm currently, and that's where he's getting kind of caught up in.
Also, sorry,
no,
I was going to say, kids tend to think in absolutes. Also, this is the way things are. And with this, that's what I think I like about the tier 1 open mind, is that it's starting to broaden his perspectives and think, wait a minute, maybe this isn't just the way it is. Maybe there are other perspectives to consider. And I think that I love that aspect of it being a mechanic of him growing up. And just love this goddamn group.
So good.
5 days a week. Let's do it.
I want more. I really do.
I am almost finished editing a Mech Warrior narration. I cannot do 5 days a week of this.
Yeah. Also, like Johnny, like I was, like that was. We don't know what Johnny's mythos is. Like, none of us are totally aware of it, like in character. And for all that we know, or for all that Gio knows, it could be someone who's like not a good person. It could be a person who breaks into buildings and shit. Like, it could be a bad person, and that's part of why Gio like felt it was important for Johnny to be in that conversation too, rather than like having it like isolated, was because he needed Johnny to understand that like letting your mythos take too much control is a dangerous thing. Like, you need to be human and have morals.
What if his mythos was Guy Fawkes? He's gonna start blowing up buildings. Oh my god.
So the thing is that what I like that Gio's thinking, oh, maybe this is his mythos, but really you have to question, was it his mythos or was it Johnny?
Right.
And that's really what it comes ahead to. I know the answer to that, but I'm gonna let everyone stew on it.
I think I also know the answer to that out of character, but Gio doesn't in. And like that's the key point there. And like I think that it doesn't necessarily matter. I think it's like pretty obvious for Morrigan, like that whatever it is taking way more control of her. I think that it's less clear with Johnny, which makes sense because he's not as fully like developed or revealed in terms of his rift and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we should probably wrap things up because we could talk like this for literally ever,
for hours.
Other things, there's a YouTube that you can catch up on all the old episodes on. The bot just spit out my Twitter conveniently as well, so you can follow me there. Also, We have this show is in partnership with the wonderful makers of City of Mist, Son of Oak. If you go over to the link that is in chat and want to buy the book, you can use this code 6N20FAN to get a $5 discount on the book in PDF. Super awesome book that enables everything that we are doing in this world, so absolutely worth checking out. And with that, unless there are some other announcements that I'm forgetting about, no? Cool. We are going to go on a raid. And let's see. Nope, still not a thing. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and raid Lindsay FPS. She's really awesome streamer. She's been a member of my community for basically as long as I can remember, and she is currently raising money to buy a new PC because she hasn't had a functioning one. She's been using her sister's to stream for quite a while now. So go over there, show her some love. If you have the emote, go ahead and use it. We will see you all next time. Thank you so much for being here with us for this awesome episode. And as always, no matter what happens, don't forget to take it slow. Bye.